Tune in most days of the week, and he'll be there schooling some ignorant creep, or catch him on a gaming whim. But this ain't a game to him. You could be a Bradley's baddie too. You could be a Bradley's baddie too. So join Jovan and get your critical cap on. 'Cause there's a Bradley's baddie inside of me and you.
Hey, hi, period. Hi guys, hey, what's up? What's up? Can you hear me? How do I sound? What's up? Hey, welcome to stream. My name is Jovan Bradley. I am here. It has been a few days. It's been a few days. I was in New York, and now I'm back. And now I'm here. And now, why do my headphones not look blue even in the slightest? That's so weird. I gotta fix the color on this camera at some point. Anyway, what's up? How are you all? Before we begin, let's just go over our housekeeping. First of all, Yemye, Teacher Taylor, and B-Spur were the first ones into chat today, so W them. Second of all, thank you, B-Spur, for resubscribing for 6 months at Tier 1 over on Twitch. Babzilla, thank you for resubscribing for 36 months at Tier 1 over on Twitch. Venus Vicious, thank you for resubscribing with Prime. And Pillow, thank you for resubscribing with Prime. Also, we have a birthday shout out. Okay, let's do a birthday real quick. A birthday party to my birthday. What a birthday.
You could be a birthday baddie too. A very happy baddie birthday to you.
Anyway. My new Stream Deck came and it's beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful, chat. Oh my God. Beauty. It's a beauty. Hey. We have a couple of topics on the board today, so if you want to debate, the number is on the screen, 219-327-8005. Call into debate a leftist. I'm staunchly left. I think conservatism is dumb as fuck. If you disagree, call in. Topic number 1, trans men and women are men and women. Topic number 2, no compelling external evidence for Christianity. Topic number 3, gender affirming care for minors. Topic number 4, MAGA is a fascist movement. Topic number 5, MAGA are uneducated and or bad people. And topic number 6, pro-choice all 9 months. Tomorrow will be an entire theism board. I'll be joined by Dalton, the Bible guy, for an entire theism board. Friday will be a leftist board because I'll be joined by Alec Gunter for a leftist board. Also on Friday, I will be doing a lecture in the Discord. So if you are in the Discord, we're going to be doing a lecture Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. That lecture is going to be on the Socratic method and debate tips for all of you guys. That's going on Friday. On Saturday, wait, let me pull my calendar. Yeah. So that's Friday. Where the fuck? Oh, here it is. Saturday, we are doing our normal stream. That'll be at 5 p.m. And then after stream, we will be doing a community night in the Discord. Probably playing like Sloppy Joe Bingo or something. Most likely. That'll most likely be the plan. There will be debates tomorrow. Tomorrow's debates are at 11. Friday's debates are at noon. So that's our schedule for the rest of the week. And then on Sunday, we'll be calling it now with Jimothy Snowathy. So that'll be Sunday's thingamajigger. So yeah. That's what the week looks like. This feels loud. Is it loud? Am I screaming? What the fuck? So yeah, that should be everything. Thank you so much for the subs. B Reneezy Pie, thank you for resubscribing for 12 months at Tier 1. Shadow Wolf, thank you for subscribing for 7 months at tier 2. Flying Leech, thank you for subscribing for 12 months at tier 1. Also, if you're a tier 3 member on YouTube or a tier 2 sub on Twitch, we have a Minecraft server now. So hop over to the Discord and join the Minecraft server. I also will be choosing the book for book club by the end of the week. I'm going to be choosing the book for the next book club by the end of the week. So be on the lookout for that. I think that's everything. 219-327-8005 if you want to debate. Dude, the one thing that sucks, being in New York, my chronic cough came back. So I think I genuinely think my cough is mostly weather related, because as soon as I got back into the cold, I started hacking up a lung. So I think it might predominantly be weather related. Which is not the most fun in the world, but... But that's where we're at. Any chance of a Dead by Daylight night? Probably not. Just TBH, to be so honest with you. It's not really my thing. Sunday morning, we may do a gaming stream. I don't know yet. Oh, it's probably some sort of allergy or asthma. But yeah, we have some people calling and getting screened, so hopefully we can get a debate going here in a second. Man, I love this new stream deck, bro. I love it. Oh my god, it's huge. Now I have 3. I have 3 stream decks here, and I'm slowly rebuilding out my my stream profiles and what I want on everything. So this is beautiful. I need to put some more soundboard stuff on them. That will be fun. Yeah, just remember, guys, don't engage. 2 things. 1, if you're on the YouTube chat, don't engage with the people that are sitting there trying to debate in the comments. They don't want a genuine conversation, so either get them to call in or ignore them. I'm going to be so for real with you. Probably just ignore them. You know, just ignore them. They can call in if they want to debate. If they're not calling in, it means they're too afraid to push their positions. 2, Twitch chat. Let's be a bit kinder when people call in. Y'all be going for the head immediately. Let's not go for the head so quickly, okay? I think that's the bulk of everything. So yeah, we have a couple of collab streams coming up the rest of the week. Like, it's gonna be a good day. Yeah, let's always start from the position that they're not pieces of shit and wait until they reveal themselves as pieces of shit. And then we can be like, oh, they're pieces of shit. You know? Oh, you know what else I have to do? I have to also, thank you guys for the super chats. We're going to read the super chats in between calls. I have to finish. I started setting up an account that's for mutual aid. So instead of tipping me directly, you guys can tip to the mutual aid fund, which will then be used whenever we have a mutual aid night. I can't guarantee everyone will get something from the mutual aid fund, but I can guarantee some people will get some things from the mutual aid fund. I don't need, listen, I love it when you guys tip me, and I probably will say that the tips to like the pay to boot still would need to go to me. Otherwise, I'm not booting somebody. But I don't need tips. So I would rather like start up a mutual aid fund that you guys can use to help we can all help each other, as opposed to, and I plan on donating to the mutual aid fund pretty much once a month, putting some money in there of my own. I think that's a pretty good idea, the mutual aid fund. And I gotta talk to my tax guy and see if it would be better if I do like a like if I start up a 501c specifically for the mutual aid stuff, because then whenever you guys tipped to it, you could write that off on your taxes, right? It would be considered a charitable donation. I got to talk to him about how I set that up properly. Atheist Gamer, thank you for resubscribing with Prime. Inspector Magnetics, thank you for resubscribing with Prime. And Rain the Mancer, thank you for resubscribing for 6 months of tier 1 over on Twitch. We have a call, so we're going to get to a call. I do play the arcade games, but like predominantly they're just like decoration, but I do play them. I play the Ninja Turtle one more than the, why not add the kick tips to the mutual aid fund? Because those are for me. If you don't, you'll pay taxes on all of it. Well, I won't. It's not going to be considered income. It literally, and I'm going to make sure, when I start it, I'm going to basically once a week be like, hey, this is how much the mutual aid fund received this week. This is everything the mutual aid fund was used to help fund this week. So that'll be the key with the mutual aid fund. I just got to figure out the best way to do it. I'm also going to bring back, starting in April, we're going to do monthly donation streams. So next month I should be joined by a pretty good guest we have something planned next month, and that'll be for a fundraising stream. We just have to decide what I want to raise money for next month. So I'm gonna hopefully do a fundraising stream once a month starting next month. Yeah, Pillow, that's good. If I have to deal with somebody who's so bad that you want to kick them, I get the money for that. But also, you don't have to pay to kick. Sometimes I kick at 20 minutes. It just depends on how I feel and how the call goes. But remember, I'm always going to match energy. So the calls are going to always go nice until someone pisses me off. And then they're going to go fucking off the rails. We're going to bring up our first guest. So coming up first to stream, we have Kyle. Kyle is calling to talk about topic number 3, which is gender affirming care for minors. Kyle, if you can hear me. Oh, one second. Actually, Kyle, wait a bit. My whole thing just friggin' froze. So just give me a second. There we go. I'm just going to restart that recording. All right, here we go. We've got Kyle calling. Kyle from Florida. Kyle, if you could you please provide me with your age and pronouns, please?
I'm 21 and male.
And what?
Male.
Okay, pronoun.
He, him.
There you go. Kyle calling to talk about gender affirming care for minors. Now, Kyle, I do believe gender affirming care should be accessible to minors. Do you disagree? And if so, why?
Well, like irreversible affirming care.
Irreversible affirming care is
like,
what you're
like cutting off their penis and stuff.
Penises don't get cut off.
Or whatever when they transition? Like, you mean transitional, like, surgery?
Do I mean surgeries? I mean whatever care is necessary for that individual.
So, yeah.
So whatever care is necessary for said individual.
When I was younger, let me just tell you this.
I don't need personal anecdotes, Kyle.
Younger,
just gonna let you know. Just gonna let you know. It's a waste of time because I don't care what your life was like when you were younger.
That's fine,
younger. I don't.
Do you want to just hear it?
No, because I don't. Kyle.
Okay.
I do not care about your
So
past.
it
has nothing to do with the debate.
I don't think it's a good idea because some people will want to be a girl when they're younger, and then when they get older, they have no desire to be a girl.
Okay, what's your evidence on this?
Myself, I want to dress up like my mom, and I put on high heels and whatever, just to see what I'd look like.
Kyle, I'm sorry. Are you comparing a child wanting to play dress up? Kyle, I'm sorry. Are you comparing a child wanting to play dress? Kyle, hold on. Are you comparing a child wanting to play dress up to somebody with gender dysphoria? Because these would just be not comparable. These are false equivalencies.
Okay, so at what age? Like, what age do you think they should be able to get this surgery?
What age should they be able to get surgeries?
Yes.
Well, surgeries are just a part of gender affirming care. Typically, surgeries would be reserved for when you're 18 if it's bottom surgery, and top surgery is typically reserved for when you're above the age of 15.
Okay. I mean, as long as they're above 15, man, they probably have made up their mind, right?
So you don't
I'm
actually
just saying
disagree,
for
Kyle.
kids, like for kids, it's crazy to me. I think anything under 15 would be insane.
So you don't
14,
actually,
or,
so you don't actually disagree then, Kyle. You do think
Maybe
minors
not,
should be
but
able to receive gender affirming care.
Look, so could we talk about something else?
Talk about what else, Kyle?
Well, like what's going on in the world right now? Why we're in Iran?
Because
Why
Trump's
we've
an
done
idiot.
everything for Israel?
Because Trump's an idiot. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, but why does everybody do everything for Israel? We've gone into 3 wars for them.
Because Israel
Have you talked about like the influence of Zionists in our country?
Yeah, I think Israel has some influence because they spend money on campaigns and because America has an interest.
Do you think that they're connected to Epstein?
Jesus Christ. No. There's no connection between Epstein and Israel, no.
So do you know something Barak or whatever their leader there was at Epstein's house all the time.
The leader in Israel? Netanyahu?
The leader right before
Netanyahu?
Right before Benjamin Netanyahu.
What about? I don't care
That
if he was
dude
at.
I don't. Epstein's house.
I don't care. This doesn't mean that Epstein has a tie to the Israeli government. This is nonsense.
He says he works for the Rothschilds. You know who that is?
I don't.
They created Israel.
Kyle. I don't care.
So you don't talk about this stuff.
Kyle, I don't do. Kyle, I don't do. Kyle, I don't do. Kyle, I don't do conspiracy theories. Kyle, I don't engage in them. They're dumb. They're a waste of everybody's time. I don't like to waste my time.
Why?
Because conspiracy theories are a waste of time.
But could they not be lies?
Most conspiracy theories are not true, Kyle.
Says who? Says the government? Like,
right.
What do you mean?
Kyle, I don't need my time wasted today, so
good.
I'm just going to move on. I don't need my time wasted.
All right. Yeah, but I just think
Bye.
that's an...
Don't care. I'm not wasting my time on this nonsense. Get the fuck out of here, Kyle. Oh, this is the same energy as the whole fucking... Don't you think Jeffrey Epstein is responsible for gender ideology? No, you fucking moron. Are you stupid? Anyway. At least Kyle was proven wrong about gender affirming care. That's all that really matters, I guess. 219-327-8005. That's the number if you want to call and actually debate. Please do not call me with conspiracy nonsense. Nonsense begets nonsense. And I'm not going to talk to somebody who engages in conspiracy. Some conspiracy theories I'll entertain. Did we get to the moon? Let's talk about it. Is the Earth flat? Let's talk about it. Everything else, get the fuck out of here. Epstein's responsible for... No, he's not. Shut up. The penny alla vodka pizza was good, and I brought 2 entire pies home with me in my carry-on luggage. They're both almost gone. But did you consider magic? Yeah, right. Sure didn't. Here's my conspiracy theories. Here's my favorite conspiracy theory. Okay? And this is a crazy conspiracy. Here's the conspiracy. White people will believe any conspiracy theory except for ones that legitimately happen to black people. That's my conspiracy. For some reason, when you talk about all the crazy shit white people did to black people, like eating slaves or fucking like all the actual crazy shit that happened, the fucking giving a bunch of black people syphilis, right? All this crazy shit that actually happened, they're like less likely to believe it. So then you go, oh yeah, the government killed MLK Jr. And they're like, no, he didn't. But apparently Epstein started all trans stuff. It blows my mind. I gotta think 219-327-8005. I gotta think of the date I want to do the charity stream. What do you guys think we should do the charity stream for in April? The charity streams are going to be a bit longer than normal streams. We're looking like a 5-hour stream. We got to pick the amount we're going to try to raise. I'll probably shoot for like 5K for the very first charity stream. Wait, slave owners actually ate their slaves. I've genuinely never heard of that. Yes, people used to eat slaves. Yes. It wasn't like a huge thing. It wasn't like everyone was doing it. But yes, slaves used to get eaten. Their hair was made into furniture. If you want some really good... oh my God, where's that book? No. Great book for some of that information. This is called The Black Holocaust for Beginners by S.E. Anderson. So if you would like to start, one of the biggest things that I think people don't realize is how many fucking slaves there actually were. How many black people died via the transatlantic slave trade. You're looking at about, like in total, about 15 million people were either enslaved or died directly because of the transatlantic slave trade. So people always like undercut these numbers because they'll always be like, well, we only had X amount of slaves in the country. I'm like, yeah, but do you realize how many people died on the ships coming over here? Do you realize how many people like I don't think people understand how big the numbers actually are. So if you want a good book that talks about what was done to black people during slave times, The Black Holocaust for Beginners is one that I would recommend. There's your book rec for stream. Black Holocaust for Beginners. This one is actually pretty good because it's also got illustrations. So this is a book I would recommend. Surprised it wasn't more given how long it went on. I mean, 15 million's a lot for that time, for deaths. But yeah, obviously we can only get like a generalized number. You know, we don't have like a direct account because records just weren't kept that well at the time. I got this one at Books A Million. So that's where I got this one at. (219-327-8005). Let's see if we can get a debate today. Obviously the debate with Kyle wasn't great. Call me if you think the Democrats are responsible for the shutdown. Call me if you think that the Republicans are. Did you guys see what's his name? Literally said the reason why the TSA isn't getting funded is because Donald Trump said no. Literally said Donald Trump was given the option of, hey, let's do the Democrats' plan, which is fund everything except Border Patrol and ICE, and then we'll do the Republicans were like, then we'll do a reconciliation on that, which means we'll be able to get through the funding for Border Patrol and ICE without needing Democrat approval. And Trump said, no, I don't want to do that because I don't want to work with the Democrats. He's literally like, I refuse to work with them, so I don't care. Yeah. Yeah, we're in the middle of another shutdown, yeah. Trust me, my line for TSA, I flew out at like 4 a.m. Well, I flew out at 7. I got to the airport at like 4:15, coming back here from New York. Got in line at 4:30. Well, I was in line before 4:30. TSA opened at 4:30. I didn't get through the line until almost 6. That's insane. If Schumer caves on this, get his fucking ass out. The Democrats should not cave on this. Stop being... I'm so sick of... And it's getting to the point where I watch Democrats be like, guys, look at how bad Trump is doing this. This is all him. And I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You are not fighting back at all. I'm looking for the video specifically on who said it. Who was talking about his meeting with Trump. It's also so funny watching all this Iran shit too. Like Trump basically being like, we won the war, but the war's still going, but we've won it, but it's still going, but we've won it. But we're still going, but we've won it. Who the fuck was it? Do you not want criminals deported? That's dumb to say. Who was it? Wait, did I save it on TikTok? I might have saved it on TikTok. I be seeing TikToks that I want to be showing y'all on stream, but then I be forgetting. I just be forgetting all the TikToks on my stream. No, I didn't save it. Did I save it as its own individual video to make a response to? No, I didn't save it as its own individual video to make a response to either. Let's see if I can find it. Who the fuck was it? Oh. Here it is. 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 Here it is.
Senator.
Oh, it was John Kennedy. It was John Kennedy. Okay. Hold on. We're about to watch this shit. We're about to watch this shit. We're about to watch this shit. Oh my God. Okay. Take a look at this. Take a look at this. Even the Republicans are like, nah, it's Trump's fault, bro.
Cruz and I came up with a plan. We said, look, it's a two-step process. The Democrats have offered to open up everything but ICE. Ted and I said, okay, let's accept their offer. And then at the same time, we would offer a bill for reconciliation where we don't need any Democratic votes to do whatever we wanted to do with ICE. And that way we're out of the shutdown and DHS is back open. We submitted that, Senator Thune submitted that to President Trump, as is his right. He said no. No deals with the Democrats. It would have worked. We could have had TSA paid by the end of the week, but the president said no deal. Senator.
Everybody saying this shutdown is the Democrats' fault is a fucking idiot. You're stupid. You're dumb. You want to watch this one more time? Trump is literally saying we won't cut a deal. You can't functionally work in a two-party governed country if you're going to just outwardly refuse to work with the second party. So again, all he wants to do is Donald Trump hopes that if enough people will suffer, Democrats will cave. And I bet they're going to. I really bet the Democrats will cave. They caved last time. So it wouldn't shock me if they cave again this time. Would not surprise me. Anyway, we have some super chats. So shout out to Very Good Wizard. Thank you for the $2 super chat. And shout out to Be It Gorski. Thank you for the super chat. Said welcome back. Thank you. I don't have the voice mods turned on at the moment, so I have to reset them up with my new thingamajigger. But thank you for the super chat, y'all. Thank you. Super chat if you wanna send me a message. Tetsu Doms, or Tetsu MS. I think I always say that wrong. Thank you for becoming a tier 3 member for 6 months. 6 months of baddiedom myself. I have a long way to go. Thank you. And Joey Wander, thank you for becoming being a tier 3 member for 18 months. 18 months of baddiedom. Let's go, comrades. We love to see it. Come on, Jovan, don't you have any faith in Chuck Schumer? Absolutely fucking not. The Atheist Mechanic, thank you for being a tier 2 member on YouTube. Trump and MAGA can go gag on a bag of Richards. That's crazy, but also funny. Nitty Lizzy, thank you for subscribing for 11 months at tier 1 on Twitch. Mingle Dorf, thank you for subscribing with Prime over on Twitch. Kimaru Armlock, thank you for subscribing with Prime over on Twitch. Mealy Bun, thank you for subscribing for 11 months at tier 1 over on Twitch. USC Trojan, thank you for subscribing for 12 months at tier 1 on Twitch. This is not Ross, thank you for subscribing for 9 months at tier 1 on Twitch. Rain the Mancer, thank you for subscribing for 6 months at tier 1 over on Twitch. Spectre Magnetics, thank you for subscribing for with Prime. Thank you guys. Fiona the Foxy, thank you for continuing your Prime gifted sub of tier 1 over on Twitch. 219-327-8005. No calls. Y'all just scared. Michael Tony, thank you for remember for 9 months. Hey dude, I sent you a book a few weeks ago. If you had an opportunity to crack it open. I have not. I'm sorry. I've been like insanely busy. I will get to it though if it's sitting in my thing. I like how somebody's crashing the fuck out in the YouTube chat. That's so funny. Yemye, 17 months as a tier 4 member over on YouTube. Gang, gang. JPG Cosmic. Thank you for subscribing for 1 month at tier 1 over on Twitch. We missed you, Godvon. Godvon missed you, his loyal subjects. Just remember, we got a lot planned this week. Just to go over the schedule with you guys, tomorrow, 11 a.m., I'll be doing an entire theism board with Dalton the Bible Guy. Friday, 12 p.m., we'll be doing a general leftist board with Alec Gunter. 7 p.m. tomorrow on Friday, we have a lecture by me in the Discord chat. So if you're a member and you join the Discord, you'll be able to join that lecture. That'll be a part of our monthly lecture series over on Discord. Saturday, 5 p.m., we'll be doing our normal stream things. 8:30 will be community night over on Discord. This is all Eastern time. Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern is Calling It Now with Jimmy Snow. And then Tuesday, we'll be doing an entire trans/LGBTQ board with Katie. So all of that is stuff that's upcoming so that you guys know you got a lot of content to look forward to. I'm trying to do like 1 to 2 collabs a week. At some point, I'll be going with my friend Will, and we're gonna do an anti-blue MAGA board at some point. I just don't know when we're gonna end up doing that. So if there's ever anybody you guys are like, Jovan, I want you to collab with this person, then call in. I don't know if we're gonna do anything for April Fool's Day. I don't know. I do an entire conservative stream. Maybe April Fool's Day, I buy a MAGA hat, I be conservative Jovan, and I let you guys call in to debate conservative Jovan. Does that sound like a fun April Fool's Day stream? I love when Katie uses Jovan's definition of what a woman is. That's funny. Hey, Whitney, thank you so much for the Venmo. Said it's been a rough week without you. Welcome back. Thank you. I'm always happy to be here. Always happy to be back. You can blame it all on me. 219-327-8005 if you want to debate. Get your butts on the phone. Still need a Jovan and FD collab. I mean, as I start making more of my video essays, maybe. Listen, okay, so I'm trying to do a video essay type video, not really an essay, but a scripted video once every 2 weeks. So I am looking for people that want to join the research/writing team. Most likely we'd be working out a profit share of the videos. So you would get a share of the revenue of each video if you're on the research or write team. If that's something that interests you, send an email to my business email, business@jovanbradley.com. If you want to join the, Laverne Cox follows me on Instagram. Wonder if I could get her on stream. Hassan did. Fucking lucky. Oh, I couldn't handle Laverne Cox on stream. What was I gonna say? Maybe we... What was I talking about? Oh yeah, if you want to be a part of the research or writing team, email me with, if you want to be on the part of the writing team, email me with some writing work. If you want to be part of the research team, I don't know how to gauge if you do good research. I don't know how to do that. She was flirting so hard with Hassan. I know, he's living my best life. But email me if you want to be a part of those teams. There would be a profit share, so you would get a percentage of whatever the videos make. This wouldn't be a lot of people. I'd take one person on the research team and one person on the writing team. Right now, I do all of it. So that's why it takes so long for me to put those fucking videos out. 219-327-8005. Nobody's calling in because conservatives are fucking terrified. Yeah, if you guys want me to do, that could be our April Fool's stream, is conservative Jovan debates you guys. So you guys call in to test your arguments against me. Classic socialists need other people to do his work. I'm literally offering profit share. What are you talking about? They would be getting paid. Are you stupid? I'm literally saying they would get a share of the profits, you dumbass. I don't know if that was a joke. Was that a joke? Had to have been a joke. How would we apply? Send. Yeah, the writing team would be script writing. So essentially you would sit down with me like once or twice a week and we would formulate scripts. The research team would be helping the writing team in terms of like researching the topics, so you would sit down with me and help research. My next video, which is the one on Lin-Manuel Miranda and police grooming in schools, that one's pretty much already written, and I wrote all of that. But so this would be for the next video that I'm doing after that. Do you think the Switch 2 is worth? No, I don't. Not yet. I don't think there's enough games for the Switch 2 to be super worth it at the moment. I have it, and I've only put a lot of time into Pokopia and Pokemon Legends. So I don't necessarily know that it's worth it yet. I would say wait for a few more games. Balthazar, thank you for the super chat. Said, I can't imagine having to listen to all 13 minutes of a diss track during your deposition. That's too funny. Hashtag Afroman. The Afroman lawsuit was fucking hilarious. I can't even front. Hilarious. I want a new Wii. Okay. The Switch does everything the Wii does. Y'all don't consider conservatives as people? Conservatives are definitely people. They're stupid people. They're dumb people. That's what they are. Can you do a video on disgusting fucker in the Epstein files and the grooming gangs in the UK? That'd probably be a video we do over at Red Mirror Media. I'm pretty sure the video I'm gonna do after the Lin-Manuel Miranda video is going to be it's going to be a war on drugs video where I link this TV show. What the fuck is it called? That I've been watching it recently and I can't remember the name. That TV show about the kid that sells crack. Not The Wire. Snowfall. I'm debating doing a video about Snowfall and using that to talk about the war on drugs. If you haven't watched Snowfall, watch fucking Snowfall. That shit bangs, bro. Snowfall bangs hard as fuck. It's such a good show. One of the videos I want to put out by the end of the year is a large video on Disney and how Disney is just the theme parks and how Disney theme parks have become sort of a capitalist hellscape. That's one of the videos I want to do. That one's big though. That one's going to be a fucking huge video because I'm going to try to record some of it at the parks. And there's just that one's taking a lot of research because it's a lot of numbers and just coming up with, hey, how much is all on this and how much is all this and how much is this? Do you see that Legal Eagle did an episode about the Doge tapes? It's funny. Those Doge tapes are fucking crazy, dude. Snowfall's about a kid in the 80s, this young black kid who starts selling crack. But it goes hard as fuck. It goes hard. It's too hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Hey, Jovan, love your debates. Thanks, love you too. 219-327-8005. Let's somebody call in. Classic socialist wants to go to Disney. First of all, dumbass. You don't know what socialism is. Oh my God, it's so annoying when people are like, you buy things, but you're a socialist. Negro, what? Listen, I love Disney, but like Disney is a great it's a great example of how the funneling for profits over people. That'll probably be the like thesis of the video, is how Disney World, the theme park, how do I want to phrase it? How Disney World, the theme park, what's the word I'm looking for? Exemplifies. How Disney World exemplifies profit over people. That's the name. I gotta write that down. I've just been calling it the Capitalist Hellscape Disneyland video, but I like that title. How Disney World exemplifies profit over people. I'm gonna write that down. Because it's crazy when you start to like research this shit like I have. You like Disney's crazy. Like I don't know. I don't want to give too much away before I make the video. Jovan, are you streaming Monday? Yeah, it would be normal time on Monday. Like 11 a.m. Oh, maybe. I'd find out if we're filming the weekly dump on Monday. Shit. Maybe. I don't know yet. Disney is a leech. It's not even, oh my God, guys, it's so much worse. It's so much worse. Not when you just think about it, right? If Disney had, like, let's say Disney opened today, right? Let's say Walt Disney World opened today in its current format, okay? Okay? That's whatever. It's worse when you look at how Disney started to where it's at. That's when the profit over people thing, because Disney really didn't start as a profit over people model as much. It's gotten crazy, and all the research I've done on it is crazy. So if you become a part of the research team, part of what I'm looking at in the Disney video is we're looking at crowd size over time. We're looking at attendance over time. We're looking at cost over time. We're looking at the amount it costs to go into the park versus the amount of rides, and I'm calculating the cost per ride. So like, let's say a ticket is, this isn't real, but let's say a ticket is $200. I'm looking at, okay, let's say I spend $200 to go to Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom has X number of attractions or things to do. How much does that dollar amount come out per thing to do? And you would think, okay, this makes it worth it. Because I'm not going to lie to you. It's a lot of stuff to do. Magic Kingdom has a lot of shit to do. But the issue becomes, okay, how much of this stuff is really worth it, right? Like, I'm not going to count the Tron ride the same way I'm going to look at Swiss Family Treehouse. Or I'm not going to look at Pirates of the Caribbean the same way I'm going to look at like the Enchanted Tiki Room. So then we're doing all of that, and then in looking at all of that, I'm also looking at the state of attractions. In this becomes a whole. This is why the Disney video is going to be way bigger than all the others, because I'm also looking at the like Disney compared to Tokyo Disney, Shanghai Disney, Disneyland Paris. Like when you look at what you get at Disney World compared to all these other places, there's a very glaring difference. Oh man, this is why I definitely need research team for the Disney video. It's gonna be very big. Well, yeah, the wait times are a whole nother thing, because the wait times, we also have to factor in the loss of Fast Pass, right? We have to factor in what Disney did with the DAS Pass. We have to factor in the Premier Lightning Lane, like the Premier Pass, the cost of Lightning Lanes, and how Lightning Lanes are tied to, it's gotten bad. Lightning Lanes are kind of useless if you're not staying in the hotel, which adds another cost. It's a whole, so the Disney video is going to be fucking huge. Okay? It's going to be big as fuck. So that one is not going to be out for a while. It's going to take a while to work to make the Disneyland video. It will come, but the next video should be out in a week or two. That's going to be the Lin-Manuel Miranda video, talking about police in schools and police, stuff like that. So yeah, if you want to be on part of the research or writing team, just send me an email. Again, pay-wise, it would be like profit share of the videos. So the better the videos are, the better they do, the more money we all make together. You should make the Disney video a series. Honestly, it will probably need to be in parts. That's how big this video is going to be. Like, I'd love to, I never know what's the better thing to do, because I know monetarily, it's probably better to put out like 3 40-minute videos as opposed to like 1 3-hour video. But I know the way I consume YouTube. I love watching like a 4-hour long video. My email is business@jovanbradley.com if you want to apply to the research or write team. I don't know what to send me for research, but proof that you're good at research. I don't know. Just prove to me you're good at research, I guess. Just make it a documentary and try and get it released. No, I would, this isn't something I would want to do like a release documentary for, you know? Yeah, and so Disney is great, lawyers tread lightly. I'm not going to be making any sort of speculative claims. I'm going to put a lot of disclaimers. Like, I'm going to be very careful about the way the Disneyland video is handled. Because, again, I still love going to Disney. And I still go to Disney, like, very consistently. And that's why I've noticed, even in just the, like, 3 years I've been going, I've noticed the massive shift. So that's what made me want to start writing this video. Emails business@jovanbradley.com. One of the things I might do, too, is I genuinely, I've been debating if I want to try to do everything at Disney and be like, hey, this is what you're spending your money on, and this is what this is if this is worth the cost or not. But I don't want people to be like, oh, well, he's just using this as an excuse to do all of these things, right? Like, that probably is what would come. If I'm like, hey guys, no, I'm spending my own money to do the things you wouldn't be able to do, and telling you, like, genuinely if it's worth the money. Is doing the elephant encounter, or I think it's the rhinoceros encounter, is that actually worth the cost? I don't know, probably not. Look, if Disney bans me for this, I'm going to Universal. But it's just looking like part of it is a little speculative, but it's not. Like, look at Epcot as an example. Epcot is, well, and this would be every park. Disney is very strategic. You will notice, and this is just blatant theme park stuff. Theme parks sell a lot of salty food. They like to sell sodas, right? They like to do these as well as not have as much shaded areas for you to just hang out at, because they want you walking around, they want you getting hot, they want you getting thirsty, they want you to buy foods or drinks that are going to have a lot of salt in them so that they dehydrate you more, so you continue to spend $6 on a bottle of water, right? I'm very fucking in tune with the way that this shit is going. So that's what I'm going to be working on. Would there be Disneyland in a communist country? I mean, there could be. It just wouldn't cost money to go to. There'd probably be more than just one theme park. Yeah, the downfall of Epcot's edutainment is one to be studied. Anyway, 219-327-8005. We still haven't had like any callers. You know why? Because they're all chickens. They don't know how to defend Trump now with all the shit that's going on. No pressure in the water fountains. I haven't really noticed that issue. I mean, yes, there are still free drink water fountains around, but the water out of them sucks. Here's the thing. Universal, you spend money on a cup that you can then refill at refill stations for the entire day. Disney doesn't have that. And truthfully, I'll never fucking understand why, except they want to make more money selling you sodas. I bet they salt the water fountains. Shit, should I go fucking get a bunch of water and test the salt levels of it? Well, you also see it like it's just you see another bigger issue with the American parks when you look at the rides compared to all the rides that open up in other countries. Like you really see how little money they spend on America versus these other, and maybe it's not even money, but it's mostly because people in the US don't fight. Like they're going to keep going no matter what. They don't, they don't push for better. Can you tell us to donate money so I can give you money? Okay, donate money. Yo, you're not fucking kidding. Florida water is fucking terrible. You ain't never lied. Would you ever go to Canada's Wonderland? I'd go to almost any theme park. But here's the thing. I'm a larger dude, okay? If anybody in chat has met me before, they know that I'm not only large, big-wise, I'm also very tall. So I don't fit in most theme parks. I fit every ride in Disney. There's not a single ride I don't fit on at Disney. And well, the kid ones, obviously. But there's not a single ride I don't fit on at Disney. So it's a very larger friendly. In some rides, it's not even about the fact that I'm fat. My legs just don't fit. Like there are some rides at Universal's where my legs physically don't fit in the fucking ride. It's just the unfortunate truth. How tall am I? Well, some people say I'm only 5'11", but last I measured 6 feet. The Red Trillium, thank you for subscribing for 10 months of tier 1 over on Twitch. Ghost Pepper Lollipop, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Ona Morgan, thank you for subscribing for 1 month of tier 1. Simply Rex, thank you for subscribing with Prime. And Coca-Cola, thank you for subscribing for 2 months at tier 1. Yeah, like there are rides that I could fit on and ride, but like my legs would be crushed. So I'm like, I'm not doing this. There are some rides at Disney that like, okay, so the dinosaur ride that just closed, I can't sit in the front row because it's just slightly smaller than the back row and my knees just hit up against it the whole fucking time. And I'm like, this sucks, dude. Back row is fine. I don't have the same issue with my knees. With my knees. No, Whitney, I'm not really interested in that call. Like, I don't really know what you want me to do with a call where there's no disagreement. Sharp, that was fucking crazy. Sharp said height doesn't matter what's your length and girth. Toast 99 Bubbles, thank you for becoming a member for your 11th month. Jovan, do you think the Easter Bunny is Jesus's fursona? Well, I do now. Somebody make fan art of Jesus in a fursuit. It's so funny watching Nightbot like instantly ban people in the chat. Problem with the roller coasters, they don't put much thought into design other than the car secured enough to the rail system. Yeah. Essentially. But again, I can fit every single roller coaster at Disney. It's great. And Disney is my favorite roller coaster of all time, so it works out perfectly. This is an insane comment. Wow, you really want to go to hell, don't you, Jovan? Yeah, sure, why not? Send me straight down. I don't give a fuck. I would care more if I thought it was real. Taylor, thank you for the Venmo. Said, I want to share a win today. What? I hate that when I tap more details on a Venmo, it doesn't show me the larger message. Like, that's so stupid, bro. Venmo, fix your shit. Want to share a win with you today. I made my first barbering Instagram account, even though I've been barbering for 17 years. I don't know why I wanted to share that. Not fishing for followers. Sounds like a fish. No, I'm just kidding. What's the name of the study showing 1 to 3% regret rate for trans healthcare? I mean, there's quite a few. So it just depends on which one specifically you're looking for. But there are quite a few studies that show the regret rate. Let me pull some for you. So some of the ones you're going to be looking at, I mean, it just depends on what you're looking at. This is a systematic literature review. Regret after gender affirmation surgery, a systematic literature review. This one is going to be walking you through regret rate. This one shows a regret rate of gender affirming surgeries at about 1%. You have this one, which shows an analysis of all applications for sex reassignment surgery in Sweden, 1960 to 2010, prevalence, incidence, and regrets, which shows a regret rate of bottom surgery at about 2.2%. You have the Transgender survey, which from 2015, which shows a total regret rate sitting at about, what is it? I think the regret rate on this sits at about 8%. Well, not 8%. 8% of respondents mentioned that they had that at some point they detransitioned. 62% of that 8% was temporary. So that means only 38% of that 8% was permanent. So, God, what would 38% of 8% be? Calculator. Let's do some quick maths. So yeah, if 8%, if 38% that'd be like 3.4%. So you're looking at about 3.4%, if my math is correct. So that would be the detransition rate. You also have this study, which is re-identification with birth register sex in a Western Australian pediatric gender clinic cohort, which talks more about desistance, but shows that of youth that are prescribed any medical transition care, only 1% of those youths desisted. So all of which are really important when we're talking about like the research. So I have research. The gender critical crowd tends to not have research. Detransition rate is different than regret rate. True. You're only going to see a regret rate with permanent detransition. You may actually, let me rephrase. You may see a regret rate with permanent detransition. There are people who've permanently detransitioned who don't regret going through their transition because it helped them learn about themselves. So yeah, regret rate is going to be a little different. Regret rate is probably going to be lower than the detransition rate. But you're also only really going to see regret rate for surgical procedures. I like how somebody's like, he just makes claims he can't prove, while I'm like proving one of my claims with literally peer-reviewed sources. But you know, you're right. I definitely make claims that I can't defend. Yeah, I'm totally not defending them right now. Totally not defending my claims at the moment. It's so stupid. But these are some good studies for regret. I mean, if you want studies as well, maybe not so much on regret, but like what like the good gender affirming care can do. You have this one, which is what does the scholarly research say about the effect of gender transition on gender well-being. You have this one, which is mental health and gender dysphoria, review of the literature. You have this one, which is quality of life of treatment-seeking transgender adults, a systematic review and meta-analysis. You have this one. Let's see if I can get this one pulled up. Like, I got source on source on source for days, homie. Because I do this. Hormonal therapy and sex reassignment, a systematic review and meta-analysis of quality of life and psychosocial outcomes. Like, how many do you want? I have a fucking ton. You have this one, but this one's a bit outdated, but still has some good info in it. Long-term follow-up of adults with gender identity disorder. Pretty outdated, but still has some good info. Do you have a publicly available source doc? Not at the moment. I really do need to rework it. I'm so sorry that it takes me so long. I'm just trying to, like, I don't know. I just struggle with figuring out the best way to do it. Hold on, I want to see if I still have this. Yeah. So somebody said in chat something really stupid. Somebody said where'd it go? Where'd it go? Shit. Oh, here it is. Sex change requires lifetime medication and infections. That's really stupid because we know the infection rate when it comes to vaginoplasty, and it's 5.5%. That's for the infections at the surgical site. You might have urinary tract infections, which is 17.5%, but you have a higher chance of getting a UTI from sex. 5.5% is infections of the surgical site. We have this information. Please don't be stupid. Okay? Please don't be dumb. I'm begging for the stupidity to stop. Begging. On my knees. Begging. On my knees, bro. On my knees, begging to not be stupid. Truthfully. Crazy. I won't share it out loud, but that was a crazy Venmo, Amanda. We have a call, so let's get to starting our calls today. Hopefully we got some real ones brewing in the chamber. All right. Coming up to stream, we have John. John is calling to talk about topic number 4. MAGA is a fascist movement. John, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
Penis. That'll be all. John R. Slick, 39 years old, he, him.
There you go.
Sorry,
Okay.
someone took my phone.
Yeah, sure they did. John calling to talk about topic number 4. Let's see if he can redeem himself after that embarrassment of a display. John, I believe MAGA is a fascist movement. Do you disagree? And if so, why?
Well, personally, I don't believe that the MAGA movement is.
Okay, John, you have to stop the fake accent, please.
The hell you talking about?
John, I'm not going to debate you with the fake accent. This is your one chance to stop doing it, or I'm going to move on.
I only do the accent, so I remain anonymous.
John, you have to stop the fake accent, or I'm going to move on. I don't do fake accents. Okay.
Bubble boy, Howard Stern's penis, bubble boy.
Anyway. This is MAGA does not send their best, guys. They genuinely don't send their best. They pretty much share, or they pretty much send their worst. They pretty much only send their worst, chat. Kind of embarrassing. Embarrassing. All right, let's take the next call. Maybe this one will be real. Coming up next to stream is Nicholas. Nicholas is calling about topic number 1. Nicholas, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
19, just normal man, he, him, whatever you want to hear.
Okay, now Nicholas, you are calling about topic number 1. Nicholas, I believe trans men and women are men and women. Do you disagree? And if so, why?
I disagree, but I did want to focus particularly on men and women's sports. More of an important topic to me, as I believe if it is allowed, if we take it to the extreme, it will eventually become a very big problem.
Why would it be a big problem? The problem with starting here, Nicholas, just so you know, is you would if we're starting here, I'd have to concede that trans women are men, and I don't. So like, there's no real way to have this conversation, right? Because it's like I know your premise is going to be men shouldn't compete in women's sports, but because I don't believe trans women are men, I wouldn't concede to that premise. The premise would be that women are competing in women's sports.
Well, I mean, that's simply not true due to the biological differences. I mean, there are very clear biological differences even after HRT. I know many of these studies, the opposing side references, such as muscle mass decreasing, but even after that, upper body muscle mass remains. I believe it's 10 to 15% larger. Lower body mass.
I don't care if women have higher muscle mass than other women, Nicholas, because they're both women.
Well,
so I wouldn't care about that. Let me ask you. Wait. Hold on. I don't care if there's a biological Nicholas. If they're both women, I don't care.
So you don't care if there's a biological? I guess that's what the argument.
No, not if they're if they're both women.
I don't care.
Nicholas. The fact that you're ignoring the second half of that sentence is really telling about your ability to be good faith. I said I don't care if they are both women.
You're being
Nicholas.
Pretty disingenuous, don't you think?
Nope. Nope, Nicholas, you are trying to put it back on me. It's crazy because you're quite literally ignoring the second half of the sentence. What's the full sentence I said? Nicholas, what's the full sentence I said, Nicholas? What's the full sentence I said?
I'm not gonna lie, I only heard the first half. And
exactly. So I'm being. So wait. Hold on. Stop, Nicholas. Shut the fuck up. Nicholas, shut the fuck up. So I'm being disingenuous, but you weren't listening to my. No, Nicholas, shut the fuck up. So I'm being disingenuous, but you didn't listen to my full response. But I'm being disingenuous. You didn't listen to my full response, but I'm the one being disingenuous. No, I will tell you to shut the fuck up.
Straight off the bat, yes, you are being disingenuous.
But you didn't listen to my full response. How's it disingenuous if you don't listen to my full response? Nicholas, you're kicking the can down the road and it's stupid. How can I be disingenuous if you didn't listen to my full response?
Because you and I both full well know there's a very large biological.
Did I say there wasn't? Did I say there wasn't, Nicholas? Did I say there wasn't? Now you're just straw manning. Did I ever say there wasn't?
You did. You said
no, I didn't.
Women in women's sports, so you're implying that there isn't any difference at all.
No, I didn't. I said I don't.
Yes, you did.
Okay, Nicholas, you're gonna have to be muted because you're being a little baby piss boy. Okay, so I hate to mute you, but you're being a little baby piss boy right now. I need you to listen, open your ears. Because what you're doing is you're trying to just go on a steamroll, and that doesn't work over here. So, Nicholas, my response was, if they are both women, which I believe, then I do not care what the physical difference would be because it's a woman's sport, and I don't care if two women have physical differences in strength, muscle mass, size. I could care less about that. If the issue is about whether women can compete with women. Now, like I said, you want to presuppose the argument and have the argument of, well, these are men. That's not how that works because I'm not going to do the presupposition here. So in order to get to the conversation of should these people compete in sports, if the only way we're splitting those sports is via gender, then we would have to have the conversation about whether they are men or women. That's how this works, Nicholas. So please don't be a little piss baby. And please engage in the actual conversation. Otherwise, I'm not the one being bad faith here.
Come on.
Nicholas, if you were talking, nobody heard you. You were muted. Please be aware.
Okay.
This is you're not going to get a chance to talk over me. It's not your show. It's my show. So again,
right.
Nicholas,
Try to let your guest speak then and engage in good faith.
Nicholas, I'm not going to let guests steamroll. That's not going to happen here. If you have a problem with that, go to a different stream. Nicholas, see, you're trying to interrupt me speaking. Right now, you just did it. If you do not have house training, Nicholas, if you do not have house training and you cannot control yourself, this isn't the right live for you. This is a live for people that can control their impulses. Do you have impulse control, Nicholas?
I have just about as much as you.
Nicholas, that's not an answer to the question. Do you have impulse control? Yes or no?
Yes, it is.
Do you have impulse control? Yes or no, Nicholas?
There's your answer.
Okay, well, you're going to be muted again because clearly you don't have impulse control. Okay? Now, Nicholas, again, I'm going to give you my answer to your argument, your claim, and I want you to listen to the whole answer. The answer is, if sports are divided on gender lines, then I don't care what the difference in the physical attributes of those people in those gender categories are, because sports are divided by gender categories. Now, if you want to change the entirety of sports and have them be divided by some physical metrics, then that's fine. We can have that conversation. But some cisgender women would then not be allowed to compete with some cisgender women because we're putting physical metrics of biology on it. Now, we can get into the fact that even though there may be some physical advantages present, we actually have a fucking massive meta-analysis on studies that show that there is no competitive advantage, and that when we look at real-world examples, trans people aren't dominating in these competitions. So this would be my response. Now let's see if you can respond with some sort of actual critique of the argument I just made.
All right, perfect. So first, to start off, I want to ask you a question. Is there first, the one claim you made is wrong. You're twisting grammar. Sports are not divided based off gender. They are divided based off sex. And I know you like to think there's a difference. I personally don't, but regardless of how you want to view it, sports are divided based off sex, men, women, born at birth. There's a reason for that, and I know you know it. I know there's plenty of studies that say things equal out in some particular areas, but there are biological advantages that persist, such as height, lung size, hand length, or hand size, arm length. All these are very large factors in sports. I mean, especially cardio. It doesn't look like you've ever played a sport, but I can personally attest that cardio is a very large aspect of it, and that remains larger for biological men, sex, because divided by sex, so that remains the same, than biological women. That is a verifiable study. I mean, you can look that up. I'm sure you have.
Let's deconstruct the nonsense here now. One, you said that it's divided by sex and not gender. We're going to deconstruct the nonsense. Correct. You said it's divided by sex and not gender. You said men and women born at birth. Nobody's born a man or a woman. If you think people are born men or women, that's creepy. Nobody's born a man or a woman. Kind of weird for you to mention that. Second, do I need to mute you while I talk?
I mean, if you want to be disingenuous, yeah. I mean,
do I need to mute you while you talk? Did you not say the phrase men, women born at birth? I recorded it. Did you not say that phrase?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I did.
Okay.
You're being disingenuous.
I'm being disingenuous by saying that. I'm being disingenuous by saying something you said was wrong. That's disingenuous.
No, you're being disingenuous by saying there are not men and women born at birth. That is.
Can you show me one human that? Can you show me one human that's ever been born a woman? Can you show me one human that's ever been born a woman? Yes or no? Can you do that?
Yes, I can. It's on a birth certificate.
What is the definition of woman?
Adult, human, female.
Who has there ever been a human born an adult? Stupid.
All right, you get the point. Woman, female. I'll use
okay, great. Now that we can change, now that we're going to change your answer. Great, wonderful. So now you can concede. Nope. Yes, that would be changing your answer. You can concede. Men and women are not men and women born at birth. Please don't make me
they're
mute.
born
Nicholas, I'm going to have to
female,
mute you
they're
again.
sexy.
Nicholas, I'm going to have to mute you again. I'm going to have to if you don't stop talking. So now that we've conceded that people aren't born women, we'll get into the whole whether it's female or woman. We'll get into that, I promise you. Secondly, you've said that biological advantages persist, such as height, lung size, hand size, arm length, large factors, of course. I've already said that, yes, there are some biological advantages that appear to exist. However, and you didn't address this at all, which is in real world data and examples, it's shown that trans women do not have one greater strength or aerobic capacity. We have a meta-analysis of 52 different studies, peer-reviewed, called Body Composition and Physical Fitness in Transgender versus Cisgender Individuals. And in this meta-analysis, it's shown, again, there doesn't appear to be a greater strength advantage for trans women who have undergone gender-affirming hormone therapy, and there doesn't appear to be any aerobic capacity differences between transgender women and cisgender women. And the data shows that there's no evidence that an inherent advantage exists when looking at real-world data. This study includes 6,000 participants. And of these 6,000 participants, they did not find that transgender people were overwhelmingly beating cisgender women in any of these categories. And they did not find any real world examples of transgender women dominating in their sporting category. So your thing of like, well, there are biological advantages, great, but those biological advantages aren't showing up as real world examples where they're winning. Secondly, you ad hommed, or thirdly, you ad hommed, which is just boring. I don't care about the ad hom. I care about the argument. Then you mentioned that we divide sports by sex and we don't divide sports by gender. If you want to say we divide it by sex, sure. But when you say that it's a woman's sport, that's a gender category. Woman and female are two different terms that derive and equate to do two different things. If we want to say sport should be divided by sex, then you need to create the necessary condition needed to compete in women's sports. If you're going to say, well, that means you need to be female. I'm sorry, I'm not done. Sorry, I'm not done. I'm not done.
Wait, I want to
I'm
say
not done
one
yet.
quick thing.
Not done yet. Not done yet. Not done yet. Not done yet. I'm not done yet, Nicholas. Please wait. Obviously, it's a vocabulary differences. We're talking about what the words mean. No shit, Sherlock. Wow.
Yes.
That you interrupted to say fucking nothing of substance. I'm going to mute you so I can finish. Great, I'm muting you so I can finish. I don't care. I'm muting you so I can finish. Now, if we want to say that in order to compete in women's sports, you must be a female, then there must be some necessary trait that makes you female that allows you entrance into this competition. And you would need to tell me what that necessary trait is. What is the thing that is necessary that would allow you into female competition? So I would need to know that in order to continue the conversation about how a person should be able to compete in women's sports. Now, that was everything you mentioned, and I let's see what your response to the arguments are.
What is the standard XX chromosomes, first of all? Second of all, I do not think it's a fair statement for you to say women and females are exactly different. I mean, a woman is defined in the dictionary as an adult human female. So, I mean, you're just twisting language to try to get a point up on me. That's not going to work. You know, we both have different vocabularies. My vocabulary is adult human female for the word woman, and so I will use woman. Sports are divided based into sex. That is true. And just because there's no real-world studies, real-world example studies will still show that there are biological advantages to persist. And I'm saying this is an argument taken to the extreme. Let's say in 500 years, trans females are allowed in women's sports. Eventually, they will, due to those biological advantages, outperform. That is what the statistics say. I know you're hopefully very big on statistics. Do I take that correctly?
I will respond when you're done.
Okay. Hopefully you're big on statistics, and statistics say, I mean, I think I listed it out to you. Males are about 15 centimeters taller on average. I mean, arm span about 10 centimeters, shoulder width about 20 centimeters, or I think it's not 20 centimeters, 20% larger. Hand size is, I mean, that varies far greater, but it's usually about 1 or 2 centimeters larger. Foot size, I know it might not seem like much, but it is usually about 2 shoe sizes larger. I mean, upper body strength, even after HRT, remains about 30% larger. Lower body strength remains, like I think I said earlier, 15% larger. Heart size still I think is about, I think it's 20 to 30% larger. So I'll go on the average 25% larger. You know, lung capacity is usually about 25% larger, and I think bone density is about 10% or it's about 10% stronger. So, I mean, those are all very large advantages, and that's why sports are based in sex, due to those advantages. And like I said, this is an argument taken to the extreme, so hopefully it will be banned now, which is what Trump did. So that will not happen in the future. And I think, what else did you say? I forget.
Well, so far you've not.
Remember. So
So
you
far
can
you haven't
continue.
addressed my argument at all. So I'll just go through and deconstruct this, and maybe after you'll actually
Maybe.
address the argument I said. So first and foremost, you said the necessary is XX chromosomes. Okay, so in order to compete in quote unquote female sports, you must possess XX chromosomes. We have plenty of cisgender women who have XY chromosomes. We even have some cisgender women who possess a complete 46 XY chromosome pairing. Now, what sport are they going to compete in? Will it be the men's league or the women's league?
We're talking about a general rule. Of course, it can change.
Great.
For
So
very
that means
specific,
it's not necessary. Hold on.
you
I
talk
didn't need.
about the
I don't need the
general
full. I
rule.
don't
You
need the
don't
full.
talk
I don't need
about
the
the
full.
very
I don't need the
particular
full. I'm not.
examples.
I
I know
don't need
that-
the full. I don't need the full. I just needed an answer on what you would let them compete in. Your response is you'd let them compete in the women's league because, and let's just face it, you don't actually have a necessary condition that would bar people, because you just said, hey, this isn't necessary, but there's an exception. There are no exceptions in necessary. So if you're saying
Yes,
some
there are
people can compete,
exceptions
I'm
to
sorry.
every
I'm sorry.
rule, but still the
Thank you. I'm going to
general
mute you.
remains the same.
Thank you. I'm going to mute you. I didn't interrupt you. You're not going to interrupt me. That's not how this works. So thank you. I'm going to mute you. Please continue to listen while muted. Okay. When I'm done speaking, then you can speak, because you're unable to have the back and forth. So I'm going to have to do it this way. So, if you're saying some people can compete with XY chromosomes, not to say, but there are some people with XY chromosomes that can't compete, that's stupid, falls on its face in terms of like being logically consistent. Secondly, you said it's an unfair statement that women and females are different. You said that that's an unfair statement that women and females are different. That's really dumb. Any species on the planet that reproduces sexually can be female. Only humans can be women. This means on its face, they're vastly different, because not every species can be a woman. Every species can be female. Secondly, you said a woman is defined in the dictionary. I don't care what the dictionary defines something. That's called an appeal to definitions fallacy. Dictionaries are descriptive. They are not prescriptive. The dictionary doesn't define correctness of a word. All it does is say this is how the word is typically used at any given point in time. And it doesn't say that this is how words must be used. So if you're just saying woman has to be this because the dictionary told me so, boring. That's a fallacy on its face. Second, you said there's no real world example studies that show their biological advantages. You said no real world examples, and that studies show there are biological advantages. Again, I've pointed you directly to a study that shows, and again, this is a study of 6,000 participants. It's a meta-analysis of 52 different studies that show that trans women do not show greater strength or aerobic capacity when they have undergone gender-affirming hormone therapy. You would have to now present some sort of, and I'll give you the name of the study again, body composition and physical fitness in transgender versus cisgender individuals. You can go back and listen to the stream afterwards. You would now have to present some sort of counterfactual to disprove this claim, because here is a peer-reviewed study, our peer-reviewed meta-analysis of 52 different studies, including 6,000 participants, that show the complete opposite of what you said. Thirdly, fourthly, whatever it is, you said that then this is a argument ad absurdum. It's taking it to its most extreme solution, our most extreme example. But the only way that extreme would work right now, what you're actually doing is you're doing a slippery slope fallacy. You're saying, well, we can't let women compete because what will happen is they will outperform cisgender women, except there's no evidence of them outperforming cisgender women. There's no evidence of this happening. So it's just a slippery slope. It's claiming something will happen based on a lack of evidence. One of the last things I'll mention is all of the things you said. Males are about 15 centimeters taller. Arm span is 10 centimeters longer. Shoulder size, whatever. If there was, and this is the final thing that I'll ask, and I want an answer to this before you address anything else. If there is a cisgender woman who has XX chromosomes, but all of these physical traits, so they, comparatively to other cisgender women, are are 15 centimeters taller, 10 centimeter longer arm span, 20% larger shoulder width, 1 to 2 centimeter larger hand size, 2 shoe sizes taller, 30% larger upper body strength, 15% larger lower body strength, heart size about 20% larger, lung capacity 20% larger, and bone density 10% larger. If there's a cisgender woman who has all of these traits, would you let her compete with other cisgender women? And if the answer is yes, then you have no argument on its face. You don't actually care about the physical advantages. All you care about is that trans women cannot compete. That is also, final thing, actually, you said Trump banned trans people in sports. No, he didn't. Trump has no power to ban trans people from national sporting events. That's why they still competed in the Olympics. That's why they still tend to compete on the national or collegiate levels. He didn't ban anything. Now you may speak, and I want you to address the things I said.
All right, I'll go based off your last points made. Trump did not explicitly ban them, but effectively banned them by, I think it was removing government-funded.
Also incorrect, but continue.
Government funding out of the school. So effectively
Wrong.
Ban them. I mean, you can be particular
Wrong.
With it, but I mean, effectively they were banned.
It's not particular. They're still competing, so they weren't banned, but it's okay to be wrong.
I mean, effectively at high-level schools.
Not even effectively. Not even effectively. They still compete. They still compete, so not banned.
Funding, so I mean,
they still compete, so they're not banned.
Whether you want to call it a,
they still compete, so they're not banned.
For interrupting, were you
they
getting
still
mad at me
compete.
for
Yes, I will interrupt because it's my show. They still compete. I will interrupt because it's my show. Me and you have two different standards here. So yeah, they still compete, so they're not banned.
You can interrupt, but I can't.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, absolutely, I can interrupt, but you can't. Yes, there's absolutely a double standard on my show.
I get it.
Yes, there's absolutely a double standard. If you have a problem with it, go to a different stream.
Rules for the
on my show. Yes, there's a double standard on my call-in show. If you don't like it, go to another call-in show. Yes.
Would you call that a dishonest debate?
Nope. The dishonesty is if I were it would be a dishonest debate.
But not for me,
that doesn't make it that doesn't make it dishonest.
Okay.
What would make it dishonest is if I was mischaracterizing your argument, but I'm not because I'm writing down the exact things that you say. So again, they're not complete. I'll move on if I have to.
But not for me.
I'll move on if I have to. Do I need to move on? Stop being a baby about it. Until you concede that Trump didn't ban anything because these people are still competing. If you can't if you can't concede on this point, that's bad faith. If you're going to say Trump banned these people from competing, yet they're still competing, he didn't effectively do anything. So this would be bad faith because you are quite literally being presented with information that proves you directly incorrect and you're unable to concede on that point.
As much as saying he limited it there.
He didn't.
I'll budge
there hasn't even been a limit. There has not even been a limit on there has not even been a limit on trans people who compete. The number is actually going up. So no, he didn't limit anything. Either be good faith, or I've got to move on, Nicholas. Either be good faith or I have to move on.
Did you hear what I just said?
And what you also said was incorrect. He didn't limit anything because there are more trans people competing this year than there were last year.
I said something else, but since you were talking over me, you didn't hear it. So
Nicholas,
if you want to actually give me
that goalpost is moving down the fucking road. That goalpost is just moving down the road, huh?
I'm trying to speak and answer your question. I said he did not directly ban them. So
he didn't.
There you go.
He didn't ban them at all. But yep, he didn't. There was no ban in place. Thank you. Now you can continue.
I'll budge as far as he did not directly ban.
There was no ban at all.
I have my own views.
It's not about your own views. It's not about your own views. It's just the factual facts of the matter. Trump has no power.
Any further.
Nope. I'm going to have to move on, Nicholas, because you can't concede. So when somebody can't concede, okay, I'm going to mute you. If someone cannot concede when they have been factually proven wrong, there is no reason for me to talk to them. You've proven that you are incapable of a good faith debate because you said something wrong. You said, well, he didn't directly ban them. So he didn't ban them at all. There's no ban in place on collegiate level sports. There's no ban in place on Olympic level sports. There's no ban in place on national level sports. None whatsoever that would stop these people from competing. Trump doesn't have the power as president to ban these things. And schools that he's tried to push back on have sued him and they've won. So your claim is factually incorrect. So unless you can admit here that you are factually incorrect, I will move on because I do not need to speak to somebody that is incapable of admitting when they're wrong. If you're incapable of admitting when you have said something factually incorrect, there's no reason to talk to you. So I'm going to unmute you. The only thing I want to hear is you either concede that you were wrong or tell me you're not going to do it. And if those are the only answers I want to hear, and that will dictate how the rest of the call goes.
All right.
Now you're unmuted.
I'll just concede. Can you
Great.
hear me? I'll just concede so I can move on to
Thank you.
the next point. I simply don't care enough.
Glad you were wrong.
To answer your other point. Okay, got it. I simply don't care enough. I'd rather just move on to the next point. The next point. You said aerobic size or aerobic capacity doesn't change. That is false, actually.
Provide the counter study.
Studies, and I could reference some studies that
what are they?
Heart size remains the same as well as lung size. Well, actually, heart size slightly decreases. Lung size does not. So aerobic capacity is still different and still men do have a biological advantage. So that would be
What
false.
are the studies?
So
what are the studies?
Are factually
what are the studies?
Can I please,
no,
please, just
no. You cannot say that I'm incorrect, and you can show studies to prove I'm incorrect, and then not show the studies. I've given you the name of a study. Now, what is yours?
Can I say it without you interrupting?
You didn't say it at all. You just said, I can say it, and you're wrong because I can say it. So now say the title.
All right. Let me find the exact article name, and I can link it to you.
I just need the name of it. I don't even need the link.
All right, 1 sec. All right, well, 1 minute. Let me find it. 1 minute. I'll be right with you. In the meantime, while I'm doing that, I also want to address the 1 point of if a woman has
that's not how that works here.
Larger heart size.
No, that's not how that works here. In order for us to move to the next point, we have to finish cohesively talking about this point. So we can't move on until you provide me the name of the study. Otherwise, we have to disregard your claim.
All right, here you go. It is gender-affirming hormone therapy and its impact on cardiac mass and cardiac function. There you go. In 2025, published by European Journal. There you go.
Great. I'm going to mute you real quick so I can read this. Let's check it out, chat. Gender-affirming hormone therapy and its effect on myocardial mass and cardiac functioning, a prospective magnetic resonance cohort study on transgender men and women. Let's take a look. Oh, you guys want to see it? Here, I'll put it up on screen. A prospective study enrolling transgender individuals under gender-affirming hormone therapy, 20 individuals assigned female at birth and 15 assigned male at birth, was conducted at the Medical University of Vienna from 2019 to 2022. A 3 Tesla electrocardiogram, gated magnetic resonance imaging measured myocardial mass, LVEF, and other cardiac functioning parameters before GAHT. 6-month follow-up myocardial lipid content was, okay, they did it in 6 months. That doesn't tell me anything. So I would say that my study looks at 2 years of gender-affirming hormone therapy. This looks at 6 months. And what they found after 2 years on my study was that they found the VO2 max, maximal oxygen uptake during graded exercise. They tested that, and they showed that the gold standard, which is used as the gold standard in testing for aerobic capacity, what it's looked at with this data is they found that there was no functional difference between transgender and cisgender individuals. He's looking at, okay, whether or not myocardial mass increased over the span of 6 months. This does not prove, his study does not prove that they have a higher aerobic capacity. All it's really looking at is the muscles of the heart. Myocardial mass increased while NT-proBNP levels decreased significantly in assigned female at birth after 6 months of gender therapy. However, no significant changes in cardiac function were noted in assigned male at birth and a assigned female at birth. So essentially, people who go on masculinizing hormone therapy show that myocardial increase, and after 6 months, there was no change in people who are on feminizing hormones, but again, he's only looking at 6 months of data. Mine is looking at 2 years. So let's unmute him and ask if he has a study that shows a better follow-up than this.
So I heard your point, 6 months, and you have a study that references 2 years. But I also found you a study a little bit longer than 6 months and a little bit longer than 2 years. How about 14 years? Cardiopulmonary capacity and muscle strength in transgender women on long-term gender-affirming hormone therapy. British Journal of Sports Medicine, 2022. So there's a 14-year study, 7 times longer than yours, that actually proves my point.
Great, gonna mute you while I read it.
And
Great, gonna mute you while I read it. Cardiopulmonary capacity and muscle strength in transgender women on long-term gender-affirming hormone therapy, a cross-sectional study. For transgender women on estrogen therapy, the effects of prior exposure to testosterone during puberty on their performance, mainly cardiopulmonary capacity, while exerting physical effort, are unknown. Our objective was to evaluate CPC and muscle strength in transgender women undergoing long-term gender hormone therapy. A cross-sectional study was carried out with 15 trans women. I love that my cohort is 6,000 people. His is 15. 13 cisgender men and 14 cisgender women. Trans women receive hormone therapy for 14.4 plus 3.5 years, bioimpedance, the hand grip test, and cardiopulmonary exercise testing on a treadmill with an incremental effort was performed. The mean VO2 peak was 2.604. This is in non-athletes. Conclusion: CPC in non-athlete transgender women showed an intermediate pattern between that in cisgender women and cisgender men. The mean strength and VO2 peak in non-athlete trans women while performing physical exertion were higher than those in non-athlete cisgender women and lower than those in cisgender men. So his test isn't even looking at athletic performance. It's looking at non-athletes. So in order to show that there is an athletic advantage, he's giving me a study of non-athletes. And the conclusion is there was essentially no change. CPC in non-athlete transgender women showed an intermediate pattern between that in cisgender women and cisgender men, meaning that but in the non-athlete trans women, there were some trans women that were equatable to cisgender women and some that were equatable to cisgender men. The mean strength and VO2 peak in non-athlete trans women while performing physical exertion were higher than those in non-athlete cisgender women and lower than those in cisgender men. So the physical exertion, they were not as strong as their cisgender male counterparts, and they were higher than those in non-athlete cisgender women counterparts. Okay, this does not show an athletic advantage. It doesn't even show that they would have an athletic advantage. So again, this study doesn't show what he's hoping it would. Do you have any other studies, or was that it?
Yes, I do actually, and I also want to respond to some of the things. You said your language is being intentionally dishonest. You said they are still weaker than their cis men counterparts. True. However, they are still stronger than their female counterparts. And heart size, regardless
So I wasn't
being
being dishonest in my
remains
language.
larger, which is still an athletic advantage.
So I wasn't being dishonest in my language. So I wasn't being dishonest in my language. Well, no, because you said I'm being dishonest in my language, and then you just repeated what I directly said.
Christ, man. You can
No,
respond
Nicholas.
after I'm done.
Nicholas, no.
You just don't let
Nicholas,
anyone
that's not how.
talk, do you?
Nicholas,
You can't
that's not
be
how this
proved wrong
works.
if you just
Nicholas muted. You unfortunately can't say I'm being dishonest and then quote me quoting the study directly. I don't do lying, Nicholas. So if you're going to lie, we don't do that here. I quoted the study directly, and then you said, well, you're being intentionally dishonest, and then you read the part of the study that I quoted. I even mentioned in the study the part that I quoted about their heart sizes typically being larger. So you can sit here and go, I'm being dishonest, but you lied. So I'm sorry I'm going to interrupt you when you're lying. Don't lie, and you won't get interrupted, Nicky boy. Now you can talk.
All right. I'll do my best to talk without getting interrupted this time.
Just don't lie.
In the study, the 14-year study, it still had findings that the aerobic capacity of trans women was still larger. I do not believe it matters if they are athletes or not, due to the fact their heart size remains the same. That shows there's still biological advantages regardless if they are athletes or not. A biological advantage, whether or not they are a female, still remains. So, what was the second point? I already lost my thought.
Well, great.
Yeah,
I'm gonna address.
Study.
No, I'm gonna address
I
what you just. I'm gonna address your
6-month
response here.
Study that also proved you wrong, but for some reason you don't want to admit it, just because it's a 6-month study.
Nope, I explained what a 6-month study
regardless,
didn't prove me wrong. Okay, cool. I got it. I'm gonna now speak. I muted you. I'm gonna now speak. So yeah, we'll talk about your 14-year study again. Your 14-year study, which includes a cohort of about, what is this? 30, 45 people versus my study of a cohort of about 6,000. Which of those studies do you think has a more representative sample size? 42 or 6,000? Which of those studies might have a larger set of data to make analyses on? A study of 42 people or a study of 6,000 people? Now, next, you claim that your study took place over 14 years. That's not the case. What your study actually did, let me just see if I can pull that again. Because it shows 3.5 years. Now, are there what you say 14 years? It's 14 months to 3.5 months. So you didn't even read your study right. It's 14 months to 3.5 years. So I don't know where you're getting 14 years from. That's not in this study. So it's hard to have a conversation with somebody who misreads their own studies so vehemently. And then finally, we can talk about the limitations of your study, because the limitations of your study are very important. So we can talk about those limitations if you want. One being the sample size is low. One being they didn't study athletes. They weren't studying trained athletes. So you're not going to be looking at sports performance. One, the study reporting absolute volume measures versus relative volume measures. So you're not looking at the volume measures versus the body weight of people. So you're not looking at a lot of stuff that matters here, because people in larger bodies are going to have higher absolute oxygen, and they don't take that into account here in the same way. Because they even say there was a high correlation between VO2 peak and a fat-free mass less height amongst transgender women. So they're not really edging that out, because they're saying this wasn't observed in other groups. So like putting that into the conclusion, kind of weird. And then we can look at the cross-sectional, right? We can look at the fact that this does not study people at one point in their transition versus later in their transition. So small sample size, they're not athletes, the metrics are misleading, and the longitudinality of the study. But Nicholas, unfortunately, you've been voted off the island. So I'm going to move on to the next person. Hopefully, they will have some better sources.
It's really hard to lose a debate when all you do is interrupt people. I'll give you that.
And I'm going to say it's really hard to lose a debate when somebody doesn't provide actual data to back up their point. Bye, Nicholas. You didn't cite shit. I've analyzed your studies and why those studies don't really prove what you're saying they prove. Thanks, Nicholas. Maybe next time, don't be a little bitch and you won't get fucking muted all the time. Shout out to Rain. Rain wanted us to move on from the chud, so we moved on from the chud. Personally, I think if you're going to make claims, you need to be able to back those claims up. I think if you're going to be analyzing two different sources, and one source has 42 people in it, and the other source has 6,000 people in it, I wonder which one is going to be heavier. Oh, man. I wonder. I also can't handle the fact that he misread the 14 years. It was 14.4 months to 3.5 years. That was the time. They did not study people who were on feminizing hormones for 14 years. That just didn't happen. He saw the number 14 and was like, oh, shit. Embarrassing. We have some other calls that we are going to get to. Please, if you're going to call, okay, guys, I just need, if you're going to call, please fucking don't be like Nick. Because I only interrupt if you're saying some nonsense shit. And if you're going to interrupt me to prove me wrong on something, great, do it. Nick did not do that. Nicholas didn't even read his study. What he probably did is he went to ChatGPT when I asked him to provide sources and said, can you give me studies that prove X? And then when ChatGPT spit out those studies, he just handed them to me instead of reading them. Anyway. We're going to bring in the next person. Oh wait, do we have super chats? Let me do the super chats first. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let's just put some super chats in it. Oh, we got a bunch of super chats, so hold on. I really need to start having a mod who collects the super chats while I'm debating for me, so I don't forget. Let's go through the super chats real quick. First up from Terrence Woodbury said, "What's good, brother? Newer subscriber. So while you were gone, watch so many old videos. Love to see your evolution. Keep it up." Thank you so much, Terrence. Thank you for the super chat. Joshua Everett said, "Just because I've seen it misspelled in various chats this week, the word is bourgeois for the adjective and bourgeoisie for the class." True. Liquidy Shid said, "MAGA saw their guy in Florida lose to Emily Gregory and realized the midterms are going to be a bloodbath. Now they're way too terrified to call in and defend their bullshit. I love it." Yo, the fact that Mar-a-Lago turned blue is crazy. Jonathan Weiss said, "Fluoride and Tylenol in the water." True. Nerfs Med said, "Here you go." Thanks so much for the super chat. Ravina said, "Love you, daddy. You're my heart and my soul, Jovan." I shouldn't be, but thank you for the super chat. For video watching said, "Why did you drop the 2 questions in the beginning?" I just got tired of saying them. I'm gonna be so fucking honest with you. Zeus Ex Machina said, "Listening to bigots get demolished in these debates has become a guilty pleasure of mine. Keep the good work, Jovan." Thank you. Mr. T-Main said, "Can a biological man have a baby?" Well, there's no such thing as biological. Like, the term biological man doesn't mean anything. Biological just means alive. All men are alive. So, I like, can a living man have a baby? Yeah, some of them. Lolatov Cocktail said, "Guests won't be muted if they have something worth hearing." True. And Choi A115 said, "Caller, don't address the competitions are in categories like size, hand, and weight, also skills and anomalies in cis athletes such as Phelps." Yeah, you have to look at the overall point that they're making. If they're making the claim that biological advantages should lead to exclusion from the event, then that can't just be because like male or female. That means to be for the biological advantage. If you're saying men shouldn't be able to compete against women because they have X biological advantage, then the advantage is the issue, not the gender. So, but they never like to do that. Thank you guys for the super chats. We will read more super chats if we get any in the space between the next 2 calls or the next call. So let's bring up the next caller. Damn. Coming up next is Gabe. Gabe is calling from Michigan, and Gabe wants to debate topic number 2, no compelling external evidence for Christianity. Gabe, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
Hi, I'm a he and 44.
All right, Gabe. I do not believe there is any compelling external evidence for Christianity. Gabe, do you disagree? And if so, what is the compelling evidence?
I do disagree. The compelling evidence, it comes from an argument from first principles, and kind of the hyper object of all human experimentation. It's the combination of those 2 things. It's a little complicated the way I put it just there, but
how would an argument from first principles prove Christianity is true?
This way. The statement that there is no information is itself information is probably the most important of the 2 statements that I'm about to make. And then these go together. So the first is that there is no information is itself information. And the other piece is, with all information co-occurs awareness. And that comes from observation of all human experimentation that we've ever done.
Yeah,
when you combine
again,
those 2,
hold on. I just want to reiterate. This might be an argument to use for the existence of a creator, or that there might be some divine being, but this wouldn't prove Christianity's claims. So if I'm talking specifically about I'm talking specifically about Christianity, and the claims Christianity makes,
right.
That would be the fundamental truth claims, would be that Jesus was Son of God, was the Messiah, and was divine, and did divine miracles while on earth. Those would be the truth claims that prove Christianity. Because your first premise here, just the argument from first principles, can be used to prove any religion. I'm talking specifically about Christianity.
Well, deist religions with personified minds in their religious texts, I'd agree with you there. So maybe it's a little too wide, but I would just throw this out there just to consider. And I'm going to just say this. I had a paranormal experience Okay, I had an orb right up in my face, and I literally got this download. Okay, so that's going to put me in a crazy category. But what it said was that there is no information is itself information, and that with this information there co-occurs an awareness. And then it basically disappeared. I was left to kind of put the pieces together with that, and I said, well, this is an argument for kind of the presence of a God, which is the most important part to Christianity.
So no, I don't think the presence of
nothing
a
to
God is
say-
the most important part of Christianity. I think Christ is, hence the name.
Okay, I was going to say I have nothing to say about Jesus to the Jesus point.
Yeah,
So,
but again, I would.
I'll bow
I mean,
out
if you want to just talk about the existence of God, I would say this isn't evidence of existence of God either. But like, I'm looking specifically for external evidence in either Christianity. I mean, we can say external evidence for God if we want to, but external would mean I can only take evidence outside of either the belief system or outside of the self. I can't use your experience to compel me because it's not an experience that I have had, right? So that isn't compelling evidence to convince me to be Christian or to convince me to believe in God. And I would say that the sort of not syllogism, but I guess it's sort of a syllogism that you've put together. There's no information is the self-information, with all information co-occurs awareness, wouldn't even tell me that a God is real. It would just tell me that like humans are aware, which I don't disagree with.
It says that there's an awareness, a mind, an awareness that beholds information.
Yeah, but that doesn't tell me that
in
God
the case
is real.
that well, it's an important thing to point out where someone has maybe the understanding that the Big Bang creates everything and proceeds from the Big Bang. They say, well, to the question, what happens prior to the Big Bang? They said, well, there's no prior to the Big Bang.
Oh, well, no. We actually believe there was a prior to the Big Bang. The Big Bang would just be when the hot, dense state changed. So we believe that prior to the Big Bang, all matter in the universe. Well, the prevailing theory in astrology. Astrology is space racism. Astronomy is the study of space. So we believe, it's believed that prior to the Big Bang, all matter in the universe was just in a dense, hot form, and the Big Bang just expanded that dense, hot state. I'm particularly, I believe in a constant universe state. I don't think the universe has ever not existed. I believe it's just always existed in some capacity.
Okay. So, can you explain to me how that came to be?
I don't believe there was ever a moment where the universe came to be. I believe it's always existed.
Okay, but can you explain why that is then?
Because I've been shown no evidence of the universe not existing. So I have no reason to believe it hasn't existed
that's
at any
pretty
point.
weak, don't you think? Don't you think that's hand-waving?
No information is itself information, remember? So if I have no information that the universe did not always exist, why would I?
You're taking up my explanation now. So when
I'm not using that to prove anything. I'm just saying the rationale that I would use here is I've been shown no evidence of the universe not existing. So why would I believe that there was a point that it did not exist yet? Simply because my limited scope of the universe, or my limited scope of things in the universe, is that they may start at some point. Some things we have no evidence of a start, like matter. Matter cannot be created nor destroyed. So I have no evidence.
Energy, right? It's energy. That's a misappropriation or a misinterpretation. It's energy there.
Sure, if energy can't
be created,
wait, but energy is matter, which is a form of energy.
Okay, well, I do suggest you use what I've said in the future. It does come off less like hand waving than just saying, "Oh, I haven't seen any evidence of the contrary that the universe exists."
Well, wait. Let me ask you. You would believe that the universe had a start. Okay, what proof of that do you have?
There's a reason why it is what it is. That is how I would put it.
Well, it is what it is. What it is.
It is that point.
A hand wave. That's the hand wave as well. You know.
Well, I can go. No. I'm saying explicitly. against charges that I'm doing hand waving, there's a reason, or a logos, a literal logos, a logical reason why this is how it is. And I would agree that existence has always existed, and it is through the contemplation of that statement that there is no information is itself information, and with all information there co-occurs awareness, that you understand how or why it is how it is.
Yeah. So again, I would
and you're
just say that
approximating- yeah.
if anytime something's brought up and we just go, well, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. Like, sure, but that's not compelling. That doesn't convince me to believe in anything. That doesn't prove to me that these universal truth claims are real. Right? It's just hand waving and saying because we can't explain it. Then it must have been the way that we see other things working, and I just don't believe like that.
Well, I mean, I would say that's how you would characterize your own position when you say I don't see any evidence to the contrary that the universe exists.
Yeah, but again, that's because
existed,
the claim is that the universe had a beginning, right? If the claim wasn't the universe had a beginning, then this wouldn't need to exist.
That's not my claim. My claim is that there's a reason why the universe exists, and in agreement with you has always existed.
Oh, well, I would disagree on the claim that there's a reason why the universe exists. I would disagree with that.
You think there's no reason why the universe exists?
No, that would require a mind, and I don't believe in a mind. So it's almost like the premise of your argument is presupposing the mind. So you're saying God exists because
to engage in a rational discourse, while at the same time admitting the fundamental truth is that you think about reality. There is no reason for it.
What makes that a fundamental truth? I'm sorry, wait. What makes that a fundamental truth?
Well, it's your first principle.
No, it's your first principle.
That's your first principle.
You're quite literally wait, you're engaging in a circular thought.
I'm disengaging.
Gabe, your thought is circular. Gabe, your thought is being circular. To disengage at this point proves that you're dishonest here. Your thought is circular.
You're gaslighting.
Yes. You're
gaslighting.
Gabe, there's no gaslighting. Yeah. There's no gaslighting. You got asked a question that you can't answer, and now you're crashing.
No, I'm giving you the reason for why things are the way they are.
Yes, your reason requires a mind. Your reason requires a mind. And
why
wait,
things
no,
are the way they are.
No, you're doing a circle, Gabe.
Gabe, who thinks there's no reason.
Gabe, your logic is going in a circle. 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 Your logic is going in a circle, Gabe. Your logic went in a circle. So run away if you need to run away. I get it. I get that you can't engage in the argument anymore, so you need to piece the fuck out. If you need to do it, bye, Gabe. I'm not gonna hold a gun to your head and force you here.
Self-info, and with all info co-occurs awareness. That's your reason. If you
Gabe, you went into a circle. Gabe, you went into a circle, and now you're crashing out. You went into a circle, and now you're crashing out. Goodbye, Gabe.
No,
Gabe, are you leaving or not? Gabe, are you leaving or not? Are you leaving or not? Either you're leaving or you're not leaving. Pick one. You can't say I'm disengaging and then still be here. Are you leaving or not?
No, I'm saying goodbye.
So leave.
The reverse.
So what is taking you?
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Gabe. Fuck out of here. Your argument went into. I kicked him. Your argument went into a circle, and then you got upset because it went into a circle. Your overarching claim is there is reason to the universe, right? Our creation has reason, right? Like reality has a reason for existing, right? And your reason why it would have a reason is because there's a God. But this is just a circle, because in order for there to be reason, there must be a mind. So you're just engaging in the conclusion in your first premise. His premise 1 is reality has reason. He has no evidence for reality having reason. He just believes it, right? P2, P3, God exists. But in order for our C, God exists. He doesn't have a P2. So reality has reason. P2, nothing. C, God exists. But in order for P1 to even be a part of the syllogism, he has to already presuppose that God exists. It's so stupid. And so, because he could not ground that, he crashed out and ran away. Kind of frustrating, truthfully. It's just like, I don't know, dude. I really am just like, anyway. Jovan, I think you forgot about the orb. No, true. True, I forgot about the orb, chat. My bad, chat. But I'm the crazy one for thinking reality doesn't have a reason. Obviously, I don't think there's a reason to reality. I don't believe in God. So I don't believe in a mind. I don't believe reality was the only way for there to be reason in anything is with a mind. And I don't believe in a mind. The woke mob is transing the orb. Chat, you're hilarious. Let's read these super chats and then we'll do the next call. Said Nicholas is the prime example of why birth rates are failing. True. Lidity said all arguments from transphobes are basically the same. True. Balthazar said we never need to ask what is a man because it was defined in 1997. A miserable little pile of secrets, but enough talk. Have at you. Oh my God, y'all are so real for those. Thank you for the super chats over on the YouTube page. Shout out to YouTube for the super chats. Let me update our. Oh, Balthazar said something else. I've had more interesting experiences with psilocybin than that, and I was just watching Coco on it. Crazy. I fought the orb, and the orb 1 is so fucking funny. Let's take the next call. Hopefully it goes a little better than that one. That's the type of person I would want to call Matt. Matt, or not even Matt, maybe not even Matt. Maybe like Seth would be a good one there. I don't know. Anyway, let's take the next call. Who do I want to take next? We got a good mix of topics today, so that's nice. Coming up next on the stream is Flint calling from Canada. Flint wants to talk about abortion. Flint, if you can hear me, please provide me with your age and pronouns.
22, he, him.
All right. Now, Flint, I believe people should be able to have an abortion at any point during the pregnancy. Do you disagree? And if so, why?
I disagree on the basis that I don't fully understand your argument. So I'm mostly doing this call as a way to like debate, but also as a way to like learn something from this.
Sure. Well, I can just explain I can just explain the argument like super quickly. Up until the point of sentience, you ought be able to have any type of abortion that you want. After the point of sentience, you ought prioritize abortions that would keep the fetus alive, unless there's some medical reason why you should not do it. So that would be up to doctor discretion. So that's about 24 weeks is the point of sentience. So when all of the necessary parts for sentience have arrived in the brain, then you should just take it out without killing it again, unless there's some medical reason not to.
Okay, there's two different angles I can approach this argument with. I think the first and the more simple argument I can look at is how do we define sentience? Like, do we have
the ability
any like,
to experience
confirmation on like? Sorry.
Yeah, it would just. Yeah. It would just be the ability to experience. So the ability to engage in some type of like subjective human experience, we have markers for sentience. So like what is needed in order to engage in a sentient experience. It would be like the mass of neurons in your brain. It would be the complexity of those neurons, like the maturity, like how mature those neurons are. It would be things like the type of brain waves that are occurring. So we know like what brain waves look like in ourselves, and we know what type of brain waves, like if we're looking at a brain scan, we know what brain waves are conducive for sentient experience versus like somebody who's brain dead. We know what their brain waves are going to look like. So yeah, we're going to look at those specific things, and that those all occur around 24 weeks gestation. There's also some probably looking at whether your sense organs have actually linked up to your brain and you can actually like experience the world around you, things like that.
And we believe that our understanding of this is concrete.
Current medical consensus, yeah, we would just take it off of medical consensus, like how, like, we have a pretty good understanding, not about how sentience is done, but we have a pretty good understanding of the parts required for sentience. Like we know what parts of the brain are needed and what aren't.
Okay, so essentially your argument is that scientifically we have concrete evidence to prove that sentience only exists when someone is actually born. So at no point in pregnancy would you
24
consider
weeks.
a fetus to be alive.
Nope. I said at the start, sentience, the parts of the brain necessary for sentience are at 24 weeks. Also, I wouldn't say that something needs to be sentient to be alive. It's definitely alive. It's alive when it's a sperm and an egg. It's just not a life that I care about because it's not sentient.
Okay, yes, okay. That's actually an interesting argument. So you do understand that it is alive, but you do not believe it's sentient. Therefore, you have no like moral qualms about your stance of it being like, oh, 9 months is fine, right?
Yeah, I don't give non-sentient beings moral consideration.
Okay, this might be a case of whataboutism, but would you also apply this argument to like different cases that does not involve like pregnancy or birth, like someone who has like, say, gone into like a car crash, right, and they are essentially considered brain dead, right? Like they essentially lost sentience, right?
Yeah.
Would you consider that? Okay, so essentially you also believe in the argument of like, say, assisted suicide or like.
Well, assisted suicide would be different,
okay,
but I do believe in assisted suicide. But yeah, I have no issues with pulling the plug on a brain dead person. Yeah, none whatsoever. And I actually think the only reasons to keep a brain dead person alive would either be family wishes. So at that point, I'm not valuing their experience. I'm valuing the needs of the family, or keeping them alive because we want to take their organs. Like keep them alive so the organs don't die. Other than that, I don't see a reason to keep somebody who's brain dead alive. But I would say like the sentient experience would be like where the moral consideration would come in is I would say like once the necessary components for sentience arrive, you're granted moral consideration until sentience is permanently ceased. So like even if there's a brief period of loss of sentience, right? We would if it's brief, like right, if there's like oh well he loses sentience because for a month, well okay, but it's not permanently gone. He can reactivate that sentience. So if you have hit a point where there's no longer the ability to reactivate that experience, at that point you've lost moral consideration. Prior to that, I would just say like whatever the person's wishes were when they were alive, that's what we should stick to. So if somebody's like, although there's not been a case of somebody actually pronounced brain dead who came back. There have been misdiagnoses, but just to be on the safe side, I just say as long as you haven't lost permanent sentient experience, then you still have moral consideration.
Right. And could I understand why that is more distinct, like from your stance on like abortion, or like somewhat distinct? Because you give some amount like nuance and consideration, but with abortion, you're like, yeah, there's no like it's completely white, right?
There's no sentient experience, so I don't believe that you're harming anything. So because there's no sentient experience, do whatever you want to the body of the fetus. I don't care, right? There's no sentient experience. You're not harming. Now, there can be some conversations had when it comes to sentient, like harming of non-sentient things when it comes to relation to like broader societal harm, but I don't believe abortion is causing this issue.
Okay. Unfortunately, I do not think I have a way to combat that first argument, so that is kind of dismantled. My second argument would be looking at it from like a more hypothetical perspective, I'd say. So, like, Jovan, would you consider yourself like idealistic in some way?
I mean, as much as the next person. It just depends. It's a vague question. I'm not really sure how to answer it.
Okay, so let's try to like look ahead, right? Because we all existed in a period of time before, right? Like we were at a point where we weren't people in a sense, right? We have a beginning, right? Like we
Okay.
all come into the world through childbirth, right?
Yeah, I would say I came into the world at about 24 weeks in gestation. Prior to that, there was no Jovan.
Right. Now, from that angle, would you consider there to be any like moral implications about getting rid of the possibility of a person like you to exist?
No, because I didn't exist yet. I don't think it's wrong to end something that hasn't started yet. In fact, I wouldn't even say you're ending the experience. The experience hasn't even begun. You're just not letting the experience ever start. That'd be like let's say I have all of the necessary components required to build a house, but I never get a housing permit. I wouldn't walk around going my house was destroyed or my house like if I never got the permit to build the house, I never built the house. But if I did get the permit and I fully went through beginning to build the house and I built up the house and it was livable, let's say it hits a point where the house I can live in it and then a tornado comes through, I'm going to be way more upset. Right? Because I'm going to value that house a little bit more than I would value just the materials on its face.
Okay, right. Now, I think this is where my personal opinion comes in. Like, as I understand this abortion argument, right? I'm like, for the record, I'm not conservative. I do not align with such beliefs. I'm more of a skeptic with pro-choice in this sense, right? Or like the absolute pro-choice argument, where like there's no single exception and it's all like this is for the benefit of all people in a sense, right? That's essentially their argument. What I personally believe in this case is I feel like people look at this argument wrong. Because to me, I consider like this is my personal opinion. You may not share the same beliefs because I can understand that you have different priorities about how you look at this situation, right? From how I see it, right, I consider this as more of a moral dilemma of sorts, where you either have to choose between a child or like the possibility of a child and life or like the creation of life and the mother, the parent, right? I feel like people look at this argument wrong because they're way too focused about the outcome. They're way too focused between the idea of having to choose between an abortion or not. They do not consider the circumstances of what leads to people wanting to get abortions or stuff like that, which I guess does put me in the pro-choice crowd because I do believe in the sense that you can avoid this situation, right? I do not look at abortion as something positive in that sense. I consider it more.
I don't consider abortion to be moral or immoral. I think it's an amoral action. The only abortions that I think are bad abortions are going to be forced abortions. I think if your abortion is forced, then that might be an immoral abortion, but not because you did the abortion. Like it's not immoral to do, like the act wasn't immoral, but you being forced to do it was immoral. So like that would be it. Other than that, I think abortion is a completely amoral and completely amoral action.
Right. So you believe if the mother consents, right?
Yes, all abortion should be consensual. Now, there's an argument to be made that right now, because I think it's like 41% of abortions happen due to monetary issues, that those 41% of abortions are in some way compelled. And I have no issues saying that, like, if we made it so that mothers weren't struggling as much, abortion numbers would probably go down. And I have no problem with that. I think that's fine because those people wanted kids. But yeah, I don't see abortion as a moral or immoral action. It's completely amoral.
Again, like this is coming from someone who does not live in the States. This like is the way people approach the problem, at least in the States, is very much focused on the situation and not like the situation around it. I think that's the biggest thing that plagues the political environment in the States, is that they don't really like. I'm a build more houses kind of person, right? Like I believe in like wanting people to thrive and like societies to flourish.
Yeah, but do you have any
and I feel,
contentions though? Do you have any contentions with because like at this point we're just arguing about what other people feel. Like, do you have any contentions with the actual arguments that I've laid forward?
like I don't fully like, I'm not sold on the idea in this sense, but like I cannot believe, like I do not feel that science is concrete. Like that's how I feel. I do not believe science is solved.
Wait.
Like,
Do you agree that sentience at some point human beings will begin experiencing? Like there is a moment in gestation where you go from just a body to an actual experience. Do you believe that to be the case?
Yes, I do agree, but that's where I disagree, because like the way you draw the line, right? I may not be on the same area as you.
Well, what would be a different way of if it's not neural development and it's not brain waves, what would be the way to, or if it's not the linking of your sense organ to your mind, what would be the way to tell if someone's experiencing anything? Because it sounds like you're saying, well, I disagree on your science, but you're not telling me like why. It's just I don't know that the science is concrete. Have you looked at the science to know if it's concrete or not? Because we have a really good understanding of the parts of the brain necessary for sentience. Because we've seen what happens to those parts in brain death.
You know what, Jovan? I'll concede the argument. Have a nice day.
Okay. Okay. Anyway. Let's see if we have any super chats during that one. Funny Soprano, thank you so much for the super chat. That was all. Okay. Okay. Let's bring up the next person, I guess. Maybe a little bit. How much time do I have left? Probably like 30 to 45 minutes. Coming up next to stream, we have AJ. AJ wants to talk about trans men and women and specifically talk about the sport. So AJ from Minnesota is coming up next. AJ, please let me know your age and pronouns.
First of all, I just wanted to say, what's up, Jovan? How you doing? My name is Aiden, age 19, sir.
Sorry, what did you say your name was?
I said my name is Aiden, but I just go by the nickname of AJ.
Okay.
19, sir.
And your pronouns?
We'll just go with he, him. Just make it simple for your show. But on the other side, how have you been doing? Been doing good so far today?
Yeah.
By the way, I've been watching your content for like a little bit, just a couple weeks.
Okay.
I'm just interested. But yeah,
right.
What would you like to get started?
Okay, so well, I mean, we're gonna start what we usually do. I believe trans men and women are men and women. Do you disagree? And if so, why?
The one thing I will say about that subject is, for one, I'm an adult, so I could care less of, if you want to be a man, woman, whenever you're at that age. If you want to do what you want to do, that's fine. Me personally, though, because of my faith background, I don't believe in you could switch your genders kind of stuff. That's just not my, I would say.
Sorry, what
prerogative.
faith are you?
I'm a Muslim.
Okay. It says does it say in the Quran specifically that you can't change your gender?
I mean, I'm not a scholar, but I could look for you if you really would like me to.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if your faith is the thing telling you, then I would assume that it says somewhere specifically in the Quran, like, hey, don't be trans, you know?
Yeah, hold on. Would you like me to look into? I can find a certain surah for you if you would like me to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering.
Yeah, no problem, I can get that. If you want to go through, because like I said, like I see you debate more Christianity more, because I'm guessing you have more knowledge about Christianity than Islam. But from what I can tell you, especially from Hadith, which is what we go by, like example, like rule of thought, stuff like that. It's pretty much haram. You can't do it. It's non-permissible.
Based on what?
Hold on, I'm gonna try and find you something so then you can use. You could go to Surah 4, 42, 49.
What's it say
If you'd like to
specifically?
use that one. All right. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. Firstly, Allah, may He be exalted, says interpretation of the meaning. To Allah belongs the kingdom of the heavens and the earth. He creates what He wills. He bestows females, offspring upon whom He wills, and bestows male offspring upon whom He wills. Or He will bestow both males and females, and He renders barren whom He wills. Verily, He is the all-knower and is able to do all things. So the Muslim must accept and be in content with whatever Allah creates and decrees.
How did any of
that
that say you couldn't be trans?
Like I said, would you like me to find the certain surahs for you? I can do that.
Well, yeah, I mean, just yeah, but even just referencing that, right? 42, 49 to 50 from the Quran, even that doesn't say you can't be trans. It just said Allah created males and females. Okay. Cool.
Okay, hold on. Let me get this certain thing for you, so that I'm like up to date and everything like that. My apologies. Sorry, I've taken a little bit of your time. Trying to make it quick.
It's fine. I just want to, literally, this is only because you said like the reason for your disagreement is because of your faith.
Yeah. No, I know it's on me too. I'm just saying because I know there's other callers and stuff like that. So I'm just trying to get the answers for you as quick as I possibly can.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm not a scholar on this, what's it called? Here, would you like? I mean, I don't think that would help you, to be honest. I know you're trying to look for exact verses and stuff like that. Hold on.
Well, it doesn't even need to be these. It just needs to be some part of the Quran that says specifically, "Don't be trans."
we pretty okay for stuff like that. From what I'm reading, we don't go by Quran. We go by books of Hadith, because that's
Okay.
pretty much like rulings and stuff like that.
So you wouldn't go by like
So
what
like
Allah
kind of like
said
example,
specifically.
like so kind of like. Oh, sorry, go ahead. My fault.
I'm just saying, so you wouldn't be going by like what Allah said specifically.
Well, technically, the thing is, it's like a little bit. It's different between Christianity and Islam. So pretty much for like example, like the Quran is fully like the words of God, right?
Well, yeah, and Hadith
then
is
when it comes
Muhammad
to Hadith-
specifically.
Well, no, not exactly. There's different types of Hadith. There's example Hadith from his family that was said from him, and
Okay.
then example that are words are actually from God that are inside the books of Hadith. And it's
And what in there
obviously
says
there's
don't be
examples and
trans?
stuff like that. I can give you pretty much what we go off of, which would be the Sharia law. Pretty much. I know that might scare a lot of Christians away, but I could give you that if you would like to go off of that.
So just confirming, God doesn't ever say at any point don't be trans, but we would be going off of
No, he
Sharia
does.
law. Okay, so show me where
No,
God
he
specifically.
does. He does.
That's
the
what I
law,
want to see.
the Sharia goes by pretty much the laws of God. So, like
Okay,
example,
show
if
me
you were
specific.
to take like the Ten Commandments, for example.
Let's get specific here. Show
Can you
me
hear me?
specifically. Yeah, I just want to get specific. Where specifically in Sharia law does it say don't be trans? Hello?
Yes, I'm still here. Hold on, I was just finding it for you. I
Oh, okay.
apologize.
All right.
Okay, you ready?
Sure.
All right. Oops, sorry, that was my prayer time going. Surah 4, 4 verse 119. Would you like me to read it?
Sure.
You search it up. All right. I'll read off the heading, by the way, just like for clarity for the YouTube. This is because it is change of Allah's creation, and He is Almighty and has permitted making such changes as He says, telling you about the devil, saying, "I will mislead them, and I will create them in false desires. I will order them to slit their ears of the cattle."
Okay, is that hold on. Not to stop you halfway through. Not to stop you halfway through. Is this just talking about like don't make changes because we do that all the time? Right. I don't know why I would hold trans people to.
This is about making changes of yourself and stuff as well. Obviously,
Yeah, we
everybody
do that all
makes
the time.
changes. You make 1,000 changes every day. You
Yeah.
could change the way your hair looks. Something like that.
So why would I hold trans people to a higher standard than us, though?
What do you mean holding trans people to a higher
If
standard?
I can make changes to the self, why can they not?
It's for your person, pretty much.
They're not making changes to their person.
You could say because I mean, if you wanted to go with like example, I'm not using it to base my foundation. But if you wanted to go with example like how Christians do, they would use the Bible for justification why homosexuality isn't moral.
Yeah, but hold on, they're not making changes to their person, so I don't understand what that would have to do to this here.
I mean, technically, it is making a change to your person because you could
How so?
possibly develop. I mean, it can happen with heterosexual sex too, but you're more likely to develop AIDS. It can happen as well.
We're not talking about your sexuality here. We're talking about gender.
I know we're not talking about sexuality. We're talking about exactly what you said, gender.
So trans people can't get AIDS just from being trans. You want to know how there's absolutely zero risk of AIDS from being trans.
I never said there was risk of getting AIDS when you were trans. I said that was about homosexuality.
So then it doesn't really have any basis in the conversation then, because we're not talking about homosexuals. We're talking about trans people.
Yes, I know. And we're talking about how I feel like they shouldn't be allowed into sports and stuff like that. But we're going off of this, which I'm
well, because
happily doing.
Because the claim,
It's because I brought it up.
if we're saying trans
I
people
claimed.
shouldn't compete in sports, right? Because they might have some advantage. What we're saying to break it down even further than that, if the sport is separated by gender, then it doesn't matter what advantage the trans person have if trans people are the gender they say they are. The advantage wouldn't matter. If we're saying the advantage is the issue, the advantage would be banned, not the gender.
So let me ask you, do you think that trans people, like example, and I mean so a man transitioning into a woman, is that the correct way to pronounce that, right? Just want to make sure.
I mean, I wouldn't describe it the same way, but most people know what you mean if you're saying that there's a man who transitioned to become a woman.
Yeah, so then a trans woman, correct?
Uh-huh.
All right. So would you say that trans women have an advantage within physical contact sports, like example, wrestling or maybe basketball by chance? Against
Some of them might.
I don't know. Like biological women. I don't know what you guys use.
I think biological advantages are too hard to place on an entire group. Some people of the group might, some people might not.
But would you agree or disagree that, or would you just say it's a level playing field?
I would say based on the evidence we have, they don't have any advantage in terms of strength and aerobic capacity based on the evidence that we have.
According to what evidence is that?
Yeah, I have a very specific study on that. It's called Body Composition and Physical Fitness in Transgender versus Cisgender Individuals. And this used 6,000 participants to show that when trans women go through gender affirming hormone therapy, they lose the strength advantage that they would have had prior.
By chance, if you don't mind me asking about the study, because I would rather be informed than not informed. Would the study conclude especially with athletes as well?
Yes, it's specifically looking at athletic performance.
Okay, and that would be against biological women, correct?
Well, cisgender
Like,
woman.
meaning
Biological
they're
woman is just kind of a weird phrase. It doesn't really mean anything. Biological just means alive. So like every woman is alive, right? Unless they're dead.
I mean,
But
it goes. I mean, me and you both. I would say, for the most part, on some other topics. That's why I only came up with this one. On the most part, we would actually agree. But this is just the one topic. Otherwise, I
but
could actually agree with you,
again, the founding principles of this argument are built on sort of nothing, right? The founding principles would be there is a specific advantage that might be examined when trans athletes are competing. Now, if we're saying that advantage is some strength advantage, then the advantage needs to be banned, not the athlete. So if I were to, let's just say on average, let's just make up a bullshit number that's not real. Let's say on average, trans women had 20% strength advantage to cisgender women. Well, my argument here would be anybody with a 20% strength advantage needs to be banned, whether that person is cisgender or trans, if we're saying that advantage leads to disadvantages in the competition.
Okay.
But unfortunately, the counter that you're given is no, just trans people in general. Like if I have a trans person that doesn't have that advantage, should they be able to compete? I assume you would say no, like most people who are against trans competition would say. And at that point, it's like, well, then the issue isn't the advantage. The issue is you just don't want the person competing. So it's less of an issue of they have an advantage and more just an issue of segregation, which I just disagree with.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can agree with you with segregation. Segregation is wrong, obviously, by colors and stuff like that. But, like how someone's, or how they are, I personally am an adult. I don't really care.
I say throw everybody into competition against each other and just see who the fuck comes out on top. That's going to be more fun. That's more fun to watch.
I mean, yeah, but then that would be kind of like, Hunger Games. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you are right. Everyone would watch. I wouldn't disagree with you there.
I'm not against Hunger Games.
I would watch Hunger Games in real life.
I mean, yeah, as long as there's no real death, I would watch like a Hunger Games with paintball. Fucking it'd be fun as shit. One person, I guess that is what Trump's doing with that one person from each state Olympics thing. But like the issue is just there is no again, it's the logic of the claim. The logic of the claim like just falls apart because it's like if the issue is advantages, ban the advantage, not the person.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm following you.
I would also just say that like just looking at biological differences and taking that into account ignores how much of sports is about training and conditioning. I could be 6'7" and have a massive height advantage, or I don't know what like a really good height in basketball is, but I could be terrible at shooting, have no fucking cardio, have no
advantage for a center. I could say
but like if I suck at shooting, if I suck at passing, if I suck at dribbling, if I can't fucking make a basket, I'm not getting on a team. It doesn't matter how. There could be somebody who's fucking 6'1" and plays circles around me.
Right. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, but that's different though, because like I mean,
Why?
you could take example like for boxing, that's weight class and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's just it. But we already have the criteria in contact sports like boxing or fighting sports like boxing, and it's weight class. We put people against each other that are in similar weight classes. We already have that.
Correct. And then we obviously have the separation for men and women.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's needed.
Well, I mean, I would say we do because, like, example, let's just put like a woman with the same weight, same height, everything like that against prime Mike Tyson with the same thing. Who do you think is going to win? Obviously, Mike Tyson is just going to.
Prime Mike Tyson is beating every cisgender man that goes against him too. So that's not really a fair comparison, right?
Exactly. And woman.
Wait. But this is the issue. You can't put the average person against the superhuman, right? Like it'd be like saying, well, let's just put a normal dude Bob walking on the street up against Superman in a fist fight. Obviously, he's gonna lose.
Okay.
Your average, you could take somebody who's the exact height and weight and muscle mass as Mike Tyson, and they are probably still losing because he's Mike Tyson.
Okay,
right?
So pause. So I will give you that, yes. So then let's just do it like this then. Let's just take example, one of the best tennis players, one of the best black tennis players in the world, Serena Williams, right? What is she? She's number one for women, correct?
I don't know who the number one tennis player is. I don't watch tennis
like
that.
We'll just use Serena Williams in her prime. Let's put her against, right, somebody who's in the same ranking, same place as as her, but as a man. Who do you think is winning?
Who knows?
She's number one, right? Same everything.
I have no.
Right?
Who knows?
Same sport as well.
My answer is who knows.
Well,
but we have done battle of the sexes in tennis, and the woman won. There was a battle of the sexes tennis match. The woman won against the man.
I'm not sure what that one was, but
this was 1973.
She won against. Okay, damn, that's a little far back. But I will say, Serena Williams did say that she would definitely lose if she did go against the number one man. But obviously,
maybe
that because of
regulations. Possibly, she might. Maybe. That doesn't tell me that trans people.
And by the way, I'm not saying she would or wouldn't. I'm just saying.
But again, this doesn't tell me why trans people shouldn't compete. If there was a trans woman, right, or not a trans woman, if there's a cisgender woman, just run with this thought experiment. You have a cisgender woman who has exactly identical physical attributes as the number one male tennis player, the exact same attributes. They just don't have a penis. They were born a female. You would still let them compete, even if they had the exact same attributes. So the attributes don't actually matter. That's all I'm saying is this conversation we're always having about sports. The actual issue is never actually the advantage, because we don't stop Michael Phelps from competing when he has quite literally a natural biological advantage against almost everybody when it comes to swimming. We don't say, hey, because of this natural biological advantage, you can't compete. No. Sports is about competition.
Correct. It is about competition, but it is to see who wins at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think the best person should win. I don't care if that person is male or female. The best person at sports should win at sports.
Okay, so let's just say if we did it that way. You will obviously have some women that do some stuff better than men, right? That's no one can say that, right? But if we did do it like that, like example, let's just do it like with boxing or mixed martial arts. Good example, MMA, right? I'm not sure if you watch MMA or not. I do, to here and there. But if there was, like example, someone going against Hazmat Shamayev, right? And the same woman, same class and everything, who do you think is going to really come out on top? Hazmat Shamayev is. I mean, like, for one, dude, like, he has a lot of testosterone. He has a lot of you know, fighting skills and strength. Even though that he's going to be, you know, or the woman's going to be, you know,
but again,
up
in
to skills,
MMA, we
same
already
everything.
have weight class. That's a thing that already exists.
Exactly, but if they were in the same weight class, and you're saying,
Why would they be in the same
just
weight
throw
class?
everyone in the ring.
No. Fighting sports are already have a way to split people up, and I'm fine with keeping weight class as a thing, right? We just recognize that weight class in fighting sports is pretty important, as well as like in boxing. I actually even think we should be looking at, and if we do already, we should be looking at harder like arm length, right? Because it just seems kind of unfair that you have somebody that can their arm might be like
reach
5 inches longer,
right.
so they have but like we already have this separation. Just fight in your weight class. Doesn't have to be gendered.
I mean, I would say it is. I would say it has to be in a way. Because me personally, I don't have a problem. Example, have you played sports when you were younger? Don't mind me asking.
Yeah, I played musical theater. It was a great sport.
Okay, so like I'll just say from my personal experience, you know, baseball. I used to play baseball and soccer. There were some, you know, some really good women that were on the soccer team and the baseball team, you know, and I could say they did kick some boys' asses, right? So I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm saying when it comes to physical contact, like example, boxing or mixed martial arts.
But again, hold on. But we
Brazilian
keep going through this, and AJ, my response is going to be the same. If the issue is the physical advantage, ban the advantage, not the competitor.
Okay, so what would be the advantage in your mind? Because the
In like a
advantage in my
fighting
mind
sports?
is everything that has to do with the strength and everything like that.
But here's the
And
thing:
especially
when
with
I
the
look
testosterone.
at advantages in fighting sports, it just seems silly to now say that if you have an advantage in a fighting sport, you need to get banned, because the whole point is to get as strong as you physically possibly can.
Correct, but it's especially be fit with, you know, everything else that has to do with it. But what I'm saying is it's not going to go. It's not going to be the result that people want or would like to see. If you put
I don't
a
care.
man and a woman
I don't care about that.
within the same. I mean, you might not care.
I mean,
but at the same time,
I've literally watched men and women, like, like fight each other, and I've watched men get their asses kicked.
I mean, that's because some of them don't know how to fight.
Okay, so then you're acknowledging that skill, or that just your physical makeup isn't all that matters. Skill matters.
Well, no, because some
conditioning
men are
matters.
some men are taught not to hit women.
That's not the reason, homie.
Well, I mean, I know that way. I mean, me personally, I'll just say it this way: I'm not going to let a woman hit me twice. Because why are you hitting me? I'm not doing.
Wait, I'm not talking about like fist fights. I'm talking about like.
I know you're not.
I'm talking about like.
Yes, I know you're talking about physical fighting.
Yes, I'm talking about, you know, people actually like competing in like mixed martial arts and shit. And again, I've watched men lose to women.
And I'm not saying men haven't lost to women.
So then there's no reason. So if some women can beat some men, let everybody compete, and the people who can do it the best win.
Okay. If you want that to happen, I mean, I can't stop that. If there is a perfect world for that. I'm just saying from what I have seen, it doesn't happen the way, you're saying it does most of the
It's
time.
not that I
I will
want
say
it to happen.
there is a percentage.
It's not that I hold on. It's not that I
There's a
want it to
percentage.
happen, right? What we should just do is just let trans people compete and stop like being babies about it, right? We should stop worrying about it. Just like let them compete. I'm just saying that if our issue is the physical advantage, then you have to ban the advantage, not the competitor. All competitors with that advantage, whether they be transgender or cisgender, should be barred.
So you're fine with So what I'm getting is you're completely fine with it, which is in some ways I would say a little bit crazy, but at the same time though I do believe that everyone has a chance to compete. I will say that, and I do give respect to any person that does step up to the plate to compete. I do give them that because I do fight, and that takes some skill, that takes some bravery to step up to the plate and show that you are trying to be the best, 100%. But real quick, I'll get back to the stuff about what the Islamic stuff says.
Well, I don't think that actually matters, because if you're saying that like being trans is like haram, like so is fighting sports, and you said you watch those, so like I don't think it actually matters,
Where does it say it's haram at?
Well, one of haram is not hitting someone in the face, right? Like quite literally, harm to the body is haram.
Depends. You're defending something.
You're defending what? You're consensually fighting. It's not like you're being attacked. You're not being attacked randomly. You are going into this knowing that you are going to fight.
Okay, so would you say that people that went to war knowing that they're going to fight, they can't shoot them in the face, or they can't shoot them in the body, you can't hit them, you can't use a sword?
Wait. Self-defense is different. This isn't a case of self-defense. Because if you didn't compete, you wouldn't be in danger.
So if two countries, so even though I am completely against, I'm not sure what your stances are, completely against the war in Iran, especially the 206 children that were killed. Definitely against that. So would you say, example, like, I'm just going to use like a random example.
AJ, you are bending over backwards to be like, yeah, you could just say like, yeah, it's haram and I do it. Who cares?
No, I'm not saying that.
I'm saying you should. I'm saying that's what you should say, right? Like,
what, you're saying it's haram and who cares?
Agree with this or not? Is it haram to harm another person's body?
Yes, but there's pretexts to it.
Yes, and those pretexts would be if somebody's attacking you.
I would say yes. If me attacking you, which I would never do, for no random reason, that is haram. Correct.
Okay.
Itself, yes, that is haram.
Okay. So it's not haram if you both agree to the harm.
You're both agreeing to physical combat. That's like me saying, hey.
Why would that not? Haram says says do not harm yourself or others. Agreeing to fight someone is you harming yourself. I mean, it's also you harming others, but you're agreeing to harm yourself. I don't understand how this wouldn't be haram.
I mean, search the pretext for it and see what it says.
Like I could understand like maybe an argument for like watching it is not haram, but engaging in it and doing it definitely is. There's no way around that. You can't say it's haram to harm yourself or others, but it's okay if I do it and people are filming it and we agree and we put it on TV. Like what?
Well, if we search it up, I just did. It is not haram.
Based on what? You agree that it's haram to harm yourself or others, right?
Yes, but okay, if you search it up, is mixed martial arts or UFC haram? No, it is MMA. It's not haram.
I'm sure a bunch
Mixed
of people
martial arts
who
or
like
combat
MMA
sport.
definitely want to argue that it's not haram. Yeah. Duh, they like
Well, no,
MMA.
that's no. This is coming from an Islamic website that comes from
Well,
scholars as well.
I don't care what the Islamic
It
website
is a
says.
defensive.
AJ, I don't care what the Islam. I
It's
don't care
not.
what
Well, let me pause you. Let me
AJ,
pause you. I'm not trying to interrupt, by
AJ.
the way. But this is from people that come from scholars, like example, like how you would have for Christians, like, you know what I'm saying?
AJ, I'm just gonna ask you again: is it haram to harm yourself or others?
Okay, I will read what this says. Moreover,
AJ, can you AJ, please
for
just
this
answer
is
that
for your
one.
point.
AJ,
This is for your point. Hold on. Can I just read it off, and I'll answer your point. No problem.
Sure, go nuts. Sure.
Okay.
Whatever.
First and foremost, Islamic teachings prohibit striking in the face, like what you said, even in conflicts with individuals, right? The prohibition extends to sports like boxing and MMA, where striking in the face is a fundamental aspect of the sport. The preservation of the face is an essential aspect of maintaining one's dignity and respect. Additionally, in Islamic teachings, the covering of body parts, stuff like that, and engaging often leads to exposure of these body parts, the exposure to Islamic teachings, stuff like that. But moreover, Islam causing harm to one another is participating in combat sports like boxing and MMA involve high physical aggregation, contradicts this principle of Islam values of life. Pursuing sports, hold on. So within striking of the face, in some ways that is correct, but it is an aspect of the defensive theory of it. There's various interpretations of it. So that is reading off the point that you were saying, okay? But getting to the examples of defending it, you are defending one, you're protecting your life or property, defending against physical attacks or threats of harm, and resisting acts of oppression and prosecution. So when you're doing that, when you're defending physical attacks or threats of harm, because example, you're going into a ring, you already know what you're doing. That's like me challenging another person of war if I'm in like another country. So there is a duty to protect yourself and others. But the conclusion is, it is crystal clear.
Well,
that
AJ, I just gotta be so honest. I have a duty to protect my sanity too. So you've been voted off the island. That's going to be the end of the call. Thanks for calling in. Call again later if you want to have another conversation. Shout out to Balthazar for the pay to move on. That was going to be our last call of the day. I have stuff to do this afternoon. So we're going to be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. I don't know how you say. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for chilling with us today on stream. It has been a fun one today, chat. Absolutely fun one. Let's read these super chats really quick before we move on. Before we end. We're just going to go over some of these super chats. Super chat number 1. Chase Firth, thank you for the super chat, said there was a guy in the NBA, Spub Wed was like 5'5". No shit. True. Balthazar said Prime Mike Tyson could give you an earful and take an earful. Oh shit, true. The Sage Sama said Muggsy clearly had the biological man advantage in the NBA. Drop or derp. Katie Ironford said, isn't there a trans man dominating boxing or MMA? Patricio Manuel has done really good. Actually, we're mutuals on Instagram. I should see if he would want to be on the podcast. He does very good. He hasn't competed in a while, to my knowledge, though. Ask AJ if he thinks he could beat a professional female fighter soloing your verse. We know he couldn't. And then Balthazar said, "Rip Haram B." The halal end to this conversation is to move on. Hashtag yeet. Crazy. I'll be back on tomorrow, 11 a.m. Remember that, tomorrow, 11 a.m. A full theist board with Dalton the Bible guy. That comes tomorrow. Friday is going to be a leftist board with Alec Gunter. And then Friday at 7 will be a lecture by me in the Discord. That's for anybody who is subbed on Twitch or members on YouTube. So That'll be fun. On Saturday, we have 5 p.m. will be streamed. No guests. It'll just be me on Saturday. And then community night in the Discord. We'll either do Jackbox. I'll be there. We'll either do Jackbox or we'll do bingo. On Tuesday, or Sunday is Calling It Now with Jimmy. And then Tuesday will be a full LGBTQIA plus board with Katie. So yeah, thank you for calling. Thank you for calling, everybody. Thank you for Winnie and Pillow for screening. I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's 11. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, for more debates. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging with me. Andrew Wilson, sorry we couldn't get to your call, but you know, you keep fucking not being able to open the pillow jar, so we run out of time. Pillow jar. The pickle jars, we run out of time. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys later. Goodbye.